All right, good evening. My name is Glenn Johnson. I'm the sports director at KTJJ, KRAI Radio. This is the 37th annual Fall Sports Dream Team Ceremony. Alongside today, Tommy Self. He will be presenting the awards to the athletes. He's the sports director at KJFF. Let's give Tommy a really big round of applause. You saw three lovely faces when you came in today. Meredith Lawson, she is a member of the sales staff. She'll be snapping the pictures. Also, Katie Cantrell is a member of the sales staff. She'll be helping out in that regard. And Michelle Francis checked you guys in when you came in. So let's hear it for those guys. Jack Sadler is on camera tonight for Web TV, and we are ready to roll. This is the 37th year we've been able to bring you this fabulous award ceremony. And the way Dream Team works, it's a pretty extensive process, but it's decided by the coaches, and it's got to be the opposing coaches. You cannot vote for players on your own team. So what we do at the radio station is we send out nomination forms to each coach, and it's specified on that form how many you can nominate within your sport. The coach fills out the information. They include stats, highlights from the year. They also include extracurricular activities, because making the dream team isn't just about what you do on the field or on the court. It's about much more than that. So the coaches provide to us as much information as possible. We compile all that data onto a ballot, send that back out to the coaches, and that's where the coaches vote, and they take a look at each and every nugget of information on there to decide who they're going to select for this year's dream team. So the players sitting behind me today are a representation of that, and definitely deserving of the awards that they're going to get. 22 football players make the dream team, 10 volleyball players, 10 softball players, and 5 soccer players. These are our fall sports. Cross country, also a fall sport, but in order to shorten the length of the ceremonies a little bit, cross country has been moved to the winter ceremony, so they'll be honored in March. The ability to make the dream team is not easy. The reason for that is that unlike most awards, your all-conference, your all-district, even your all-state, all the athletes are separated into classes, 6 classifications, 1 through 6. We don't do that. We don't break that up. So we have Class 1 players mixing it up with Class 6 players, and they all have to fight for those spots on the dream team. It makes it very difficult, and it makes it just as big of an honor as an all-region, and even pretty close to an all-state. So if you've made the dream team, you've really done something well. It's players from our listening area that make it. J-98 listening area reaches quite a ways. We go up north to schools like Northwest, Fox, and Seckman. We go down south as far as Van Buren, out east to Perryville High School, and even across the Mississippi River a little ways, and out west to Cuba. So that's quite the area that is involved in J-98 listenership, and all the athletes that are behind us today are scattered out throughout that listening area. First off, we would like to once again welcome a member from the SEMO Football Officials Association to hand out this year's Sportsmanship Award from the football season. So give a big round of applause for John Bach.
As Glenn said, this is the 37th year. I'd like to first of all thank KTJJ and all its sister stations for the coverage they give the football teams in the fall. It means a lot to the players, to their parents, and all the fans, as well as the coaches. The other thing, I'd like to congratulate all these athletes. I know I was in on it when it first started 37 years ago as a coach, and I got to vote. I'm glad I don't have to vote today, because I'm a ponderer. I want you to ponder this. I don't think there's an area in the whole state of Missouri that has the diversity of athletic talent as the Mineral area. State champions in football, softball, 2 cross countries, soccer, all from this area. And that's not counting the runners up. They're competing against themselves. We had second place finishers behind them, top 4. I mean, it just goes on and on. So I'm not a betting person. If I was, I'd bet the farm. But I don't think you can match it anywhere. So congratulations to you people. I'm glad I didn't have to vote, because there were many outstanding athletes. We send out, the SEMO Football Association send out 18 to 20 crews each Friday night in the fall. And we cover, as Scott said, or Scott, what am I calling you, Scott? Glenn said, I changed his name, he didn't even know it. But from Jefferson County to our borders with Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas. We cover a large area. And what we're looking for are the teams, the fans, and the coaches that exhibit good sportsmanship. No one likes a flag. Everybody has an opinion. When you throw that flag, you've alienated at least half of the crowd. But we put up with that because we know everyone has a right to their opinion. But it's how you express it and how you deal with it. And that's what we're looking for. So each crew rates the 2 teams they had that particular night. And then our executive director crunches all those numbers. And then each year we honor a team from each of the areas, and I represent the mineral area on the board. So this year's winner of our sportsmanship award goes to DeSoto High School. I don't think Coach Baker is in the crowd, but there should be a member here from the DeSoto softball staff, I would think. Please come forward and accept this trophy on behalf of, here he comes, my old buddy. He used to be on my crew, Matt Gimmer. And this guy, what did he do? He set himself up. First year coach and he wins the state. Follow that, pal. Thank you.
He'll be back up here a little bit later on. Scott is not the worst name I've been called since working here. Thank you very much, John, if you can believe that. We started off with softball. 10 softball players have been selected to this year's Dream Team. Our first coach to present their athlete just wrapped his 2nd year as the head coach for Central Softball. They went 17-7. They were co-conference champs in the NAAA. He's racked up 38 wins in just 2 years. Please welcome Brian Wallen from Park Hill Central.
Again, it's an honor to be here, and just want to say thank you to KTJJ and KRAI for the coverage they give to all our area athletes. It's none like anything else in the state that our kids get to not only get recognized, but people can listen in and watch even games on TV. I know I was out of town at a tournament with my daughter and got to watch a football game in Tennessee on a Friday night that I really wanted to be at. So that's very unique to be able to do that. It's my honor today to introduce Hannah Stamm as a member of the 2014 Softball Dream Team. I apologize in advance. I have quite a bit to say about her because this is one of my last opportunities to say something about her. Before I get into her athletic achievement and community involvement, let me start with her academic achievements. She has a 3.93 non-weighted GPA, 4.48 weighted GPA, and this year has a 4.93 and ranks 15 out of 132 in her class. I've had the pleasure of having her in 3 of my classes in advanced geometry, ACT prep, and trig pre-calculus, and she's one of the hardest working students that I've ever had, and her work ethic is almost contagious to the other students. She's an excellent student and athlete, and is more important than that is how great of a person she is. From the softball side of things, she's a 4-year starter on the softball team and a 4-year captain. During her 4 years in a CHS uniform, she's been named a unanimous first team all-conference all 4 years, unanimous first team all-district all 4 years, academic all-state all 4 years, first team all-region the last 2 years, second team all-state last year, first team all-state this year, and this is her 2nd time for being a Dream Team member. She's the only Central player ever to receive 2 all-state honors, which is a very big accomplishment. This season, she again led our team in almost every offensive category. And I know this is a season award, but I find it appropriate to talk about her career at CHS. She holds several records, and here are just a few of these. And I say a few, there's quite a few. For a season, 45 runs, 6 triples, 17 extra base hits, a .528 average, slugging percentage of .910, total bases 71, and stolen bases of 31. Those are season records since our program was created in, I think it was '98. As a career, these are going to be numbers that are going to be hard to reach by anybody. She has 301 career at-bats, 143 runs, 142 hits, 30 doubles, 14 triples, 13 home runs, 92 RBIs, 239 total bases, a career average of 472, and 142 assists. She's one of those players I know as opposing coach. It seems like she's probably been in our program for 7 or 8 years, and I know that some of our coaches that we have the honor of playing are glad that she's going to be graduating. But more importantly of that is how she's changed the face of our softball program, and this is important to her, I know. During her 4 years in our program, we've had a record of 78-20, a conference record of 37-3, winning 4 straight conference championships, 1 conference tournament championship, and 2 district titles, which are the first 2 district titles of our program. Hannah's a model softball player. She's a great team leader who leads vocally and physically. She's always the one that will put in the extra work when no one is looking, and that is a mark of a great player. I know that she has sacrificed a lot to make herself into a great softball player. She had a goal in mind when she was in middle school to play college softball, and she's accepted a scholarship to SIU, which she will begin next fall. I'm honored to be her teacher, her coach, and most importantly, her youth leader at church. She is my daughter's idol, and that means a lot to me. I have no doubt that Hannah will be successful in whatever career path she chooses, and I want to let her know how proud I am of her and how glad that I am that I've had the opportunity to coach such a gifted athlete. Her community involvement, Hannah's not only a great softball player, but she's a great student, a fine young lady. She's involved in National Honor Society, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Student Council, C Club, Pep Club, Student Advisory, and is an active member of the Esther Baptist Church Group. As her youth leader, I've had the privilege of watching her grow into an outstanding young Christian woman who exemplifies what we are called to do as Christians, and that is to let people see Jesus in all that we do. I've been with her on several mission trips, and trust me, she outworks everyone there, especially the guys. It pushes them, again, to work a little harder because they don't want to be outworked by a girl. But I guess the biggest compliment is how much of a role model that she is to all the younger kids in our school district, and especially to my daughter, as I mentioned, who's an avid softball player and will be a freshman next year, and she's hoping to follow in her footsteps. But for the last several years, I've seen my daughter mimic Hannah with the way she does things on and off the field and how she works in the off season. But more importantly to me, I see my daughter doing things as a person and as a Christian that I know that she's getting from Hannah, and that means the world to me. I know that her parents, Brian and Tracy, have done a great job of raising a fine young woman, and they are very proud of the person that she is. So again, it's with great pleasure that I would like to recognize and present to you Ms. Hannah Stam as a member of the 2014 Softball Dream Team.
For our next presenter, John Bach mentioned it. His first season as head coach led his team to 25 wins and a state championship. From DeSoto High School, Matt Gemmer.
Well, it's going to be tough following Coach Wallen. He's got a little bit more experience. I know I was playing against him when he was coaching baseball at Park Hills, and you know, he's been a pretty fun guy to watch and learn and try to get a few things from. But you know, I obviously got a very talented group of young ladies here to my right, and I've only been the first-year head coach. Second year being around the program since I left DeSoto High School after graduating, but you know, I heard a lot when I was away. I was up at Mizzou for 2 years, and I heard, man, these Crodinger girls and the Canada girl, they're the real deal. They're the real deal. You need to come see them play. And I'm like, well, you know, I've seen some pretty good ball players. We'll see. You know, it's DeSoto. It's regular DeSoto talk, and turns out the people for once in DeSoto were right. They were the real deal. And they could play a little bit, and you know, getting to be around them the past 2 years and seeing the way they do things, just what they brought to the program, what they meant to DeSoto softball, is something that you know you hope is not irreplaceable, but chances are it's going to be missing something going forward. But you know, that's when we look back the past 2 years, and you can understand why they had a 54-7 record in 2 years with a third place finish and a state championship. And it's why that when you walk through our gymnasium, you can see just the softball, 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 and the all-state banners in there. And, you know, as their coach, as someone who got to work with them for the 2 years that I have, and being blessed to be their head coach for 1 year, you know, I couldn't have asked for a better group of girls. What they brought to the game, what they brought to the field, what they brought to practice, just an intensity, a level of professionalism, all of that just goes unmatched. And you know, they get referred to as the big three or the three seniors, and all the time. I'm going to break them down a little bit here in just a few seconds, but and talk to them individually. But we'll start with some individual stats to go off, starting with Bethany. You know, this year she hit 500 with an on-base percentage of 600, and you know, with a number 3 hitter that can do that, especially when you have 2 hitters in front of her that are on all the time, you're going to put up some runs. Slugging was 1,000, so when she got a hit, chances are it was for more than 1 base at a time. You know, she's not getting just hit singles. It's home runs, doubles, triples, all that. And 107 plate appearances and 84 at-bats. She had 38 hits, 38 runs, and 42 hits. So, you know, she's on base, she's scoring, and that's a little bit of a testimony to Bethany's great base running, although sometimes it gave me, I won't say gray hairs because I think I'm too young, but sitting over there and trying to get her to slow down just a little bit. And but, you know, it's Bethany. She's intense, and she's just going to run. I think, and 10 home runs this year. And she had, in her career, 31 home runs. And the last time I checked, that's going to have her finishing second in the Missouri State High School Athletic Association, behind her future assistant coach and my friend Nicole Hudson. So that'll be something that she's going to get to enjoy, and Nicole will get to brag about when she gets up there to Wichita State next year, and always hold over her head. But it'll be something that she just said, hey, maybe if your buddy and my coach was a little bit better, I would have caught you. So hopefully she doesn't have to say that. And that's a little bit, you know, she played a solid third base for us all year. At times, we won't mention her ERA as a pitcher for the one game we had her throw this year. She had really kind of taken in that role of third base, and it was a little bit my fault. I chickened out and had her pitch. I was falling back to what I'd seen before, and I told her in the beginning of the year, I said, hey, you're not going to pitch much. You're going to play third. We're not going to ever worry about third base again all season long. And she committed to that, and because we had some good pitchers outside of Courtney that could come in and throw, and when it got time, Coach chickened out and said, Bethany, you're throwing today. Huh? Okay. And it did not go well, and I think the ERA is somewhere up there around, no, not going to say it. No? Okay, we won't say it. But it's nothing compared to Courtney's. But, you know, one thing, you know, I told you I'd break them down a little bit. One thing I think Bethany did a great job. I mean, obviously she came in all year long and she worked, but just kind of the professionalism that she carried with herself all season long. You know, whether it was me coming into school an hour before summer school started so she could get into the weight room and work out before going to her summer school classes that she was taking, trying to help her education, which I think right now she's standing 4th in the class in academics. And, you know, it's doing things like that, being the first one there, being the last one to leave, knowing what her job is to do and doing her job, and holding other people accountable for them doing their job as well. And that's, you know, Bethany was, if I had to break these 3 up, I'd say Bethany was the professional one. And the Crodinger twins, we'll get a little bit more adjectives on them here in a little bit. But, you know, as first-year head coach, couldn't have been happier to have a professional like Bethany there, keeping the players in line and then keeping me in line. Look at Brittany here. This year, you know, she's probably going to be mad that we even talk about the batting average this year. It's set at 352. But I tell you what, you couldn't find a kid who was more clutch down the stretch than her. Home run in the sectional game that gave us the lead, and home run in the quarterfinal game that gave us the lead, and really was a just a lightning bolt into our program, into our team that kind of set things going forward. 447 on base, 670 slugging percentage, and 88 at bats. She had 36 runs and 31 hits. So that's something there that, you know, she's getting on base and she's scoring more times than she is hitting. One thing I think that all three of these girls saw was, I know Brittany, I think, led our team, and she might have led all of Jefferson County in hit by pitch. And trying to go up to the plate and stay focused and get your pitch and getting hit constantly is something that's not easy to do, and to stay in there and get focused the next at bat. And that was something she did good all year. And, you know, getting hits, not getting to hit a double or triple home run, which she was very capable of doing every time. And it does get frustrating, especially if you don't get to swing the bat. 21 RBIs as a leadoff hitter. You know, I think that goes to definitely is credit to her timely hitting, and it's also a little credit to her teammates being on base at the right time. But you know, at some point when there's two outs on you and bases are loaded or runners in scoring position, you still got to make a good swing, get good contact, and drive a ball, and then hope that they don't make a great play. One thing, only struck out 3 times all year, and you know, we won't get into whether or not that was a bad call, no looking or what, but or if the coach was telling her, hey, look for this pitch, and it's not that pitch. 57 stolen bases in her career, 103 RBIs and 17 home runs in her career. You know, and so that's a little bit about Brittany's stats. Brittany also played shortstop for us. I know the last 2 years. I think all 4 years. Yeah, all 4 years. And you know, she had a part on the year that I think maybe 4 errors in like the first 8 games, and we got in a new little infield training paddle, and she really committed to that thing. And I think the only error she had after that might have been in the state championship game, after she made one of the best plays we've seen her ever make, diving up the middle, caught the ball, tagged the girl out at second, and trying to make a throw from her knees, overthrew our first baseman. But you know, when you make a play like that, I'll take a overthrow and we'll give the girl second base. Brittany was kind of the life of the team. She wore her emotion on her sleeve, good or bad. Very big pick-me-up kid. Would get very excited. I think the only other person I would ever see get more excited was Bethany when it was 1 strike away from a game. She threw her glove down, you know, and they pulled the league of their own. But you know, Brittany was the life. We went by her, we died by her, and you know, the games that she struggled, we struggled a little bit, and then the games that she played big were exactly the games that we needed her to. And you know, we played Portageville earlier this year, and I still think I think I have one of the best pitchers around, but I think they might have had maybe the best pitcher around. And you know, 1 run scored. Brittany smokes the line drive out in the center field, and she gets on a triple, and that was the only run of the game. Very first batter of the game. We ended up scoring her, and then we see our pitcher and their pitcher just go and mow people down constantly. And you know, so that's an example of her being the life of the team. Courtney, don't worry, we'll talk more about you, Brittany. Courtney this year hit .567, 592 on base, 979 slugging, 40 runs on 55 hits, 13 doubles, 6 triples, and 5 home runs. She also had 15 home runs in her career and 144 RBIs. If we look at some of her pitching stats, I tell you, I don't know how she does it. 497 strikeouts in 4 years. You know, it makes life pretty easy as a coach, especially when you have, you know, her mom, who's a pretty good pitching coach, who's there helping you. You know, and it's nice when you just say, hey, what's going on with Courtney? And you have the person who knows exactly what's going wrong with Courtney is there in the dugout. And, you know, I might have had to go out and talk to Courtney about it, but, you know, knowing that information always helps out. Only gave up 28 runs this year, 26 of them earned. I know one of them was completely my fault, and it was the quarterfinal game. Rookie mistake on my part. Courtney's out there throwing a pretty good game. It's tight, it's close. Pacific's best hitters at the plate. And I'm like, hey, go out there. Don't throw this girl anything close. We're not going to let her beat us. We're going to make somebody else beat us. She had just gone and got the last 5 batters out and made it look easy. And, of course, I interrupt her rhythm. Very first pitch after I sit down gets hit over the fence. And it was just like, wow, you are really trying to blow this game as a coach. You got the best players, just let them play. You know, so I can take at least one of those runs, and only gave up 7 home runs this year. And as a pitcher in this area, when you only give up 7 home runs this year, and then you only give up, let's see, quick math, 14 home runs in your career, and, you know, I think this year was her worst year, so I get to blame that on me, because it definitely wasn't Mama Crodinger, because she's been doing the same thing as she's always been doing. But, you know, the numbers these girls have put up are just unbelievable. And for them to be awarded to the Dream Team, I think, you know, when you look at the numbers, you can say all the numbers you want to and make them look good. But what these girls were, and Courtney was the intense one. There was days that I wouldn't even talk to Courtney because I was kind of afraid of her. You know, she brought the intensity with her, and if you've been around the game of baseball or softball, you don't talk to pitchers. You don't deal with it. They're off in their own little world, and there's been times where I can just see it in her eyes where it's like, nope, I'm not even going to deal with her. I'm not going to talk to her. You try every once in a while. I would get her mad before a game just to kind of take it out there on the field and see what she could do, and hope and pray that she didn't actually kill someone, because, you know, she was very capable of doing that. But threw the ball hard enough and wasn't afraid to go inside. So, you know, it's something that she can do. But when you look at these girls, you think, yeah, the numbers are there. The numbers are great. But, you know, being around them for the past 2 years, and actually the Crodingers for most of their lives, because I grew up with their older brother and known them since they were little babies. But, you know, you understand that they're not only great softball players, they're also great students. And, you know, like Coach Wallen said, they're great people. You know, they're not going to be here today if it wasn't for their character, their attitudes, and the way they treat people. And, you know, you can't say enough for what that means for your community. I mean, these 3 kids, and they're doing it, and other things that they do right now. You know, the sisters are playing basketball, and they got some good things going for them. And Bethany's in there working hard in the weight room, and actually drawing more people in, and giving our track kids a run for their money. And but the way they work, the way they approach things is just second to none, and that's why they've been as successful as they've been. I mean, you've got 2 All-Staters. Brittany's twice All-State, Courtney 3 times, and Bethany was the first female athlete to be 4-time All-State in DeSoto High School history. And, you know, it's a little bit of skill, it's a little bit of athletic ability. It's a lot to do with their parents who raised them and did a great job, and then just the character that they have. And I think that's all I got to say for them. Thank you.
Maybe the biggest compliment you could give them is the rest of the coaches in the conference are so happy to see them graduate now. Our next presenter has had 34 wins in 2 years with her team, including 21 of them this year. Conference champs in the regular season, also conference tournament champs in the NCAA, along with district champs from Farmington High School, Lindsay Albee.
you scared? All right, I am lucky enough to have coached Kayla for 4 years now, 2 years as the assistant coach and 2 years as her varsity coach. In those years, she has grown as a player and a leader on our team. Each year, her stats have been great, but this year she has exceeded all those expectations that we've had those growing 4 years with some phenomenal stats this year. She led our team both defensively and offensively. She finished this year with a .547 batting average, over 1,000 slugging average, a .650 on-base percentage, 12 home runs, 48 RBIs, and 41 hits. Several hits when they were intentionally trying to walk her, and she still went up there and swung and hitting it off the fence anyway, so we're going to miss that for sure. She led our team on the mound with a 19-4 record, a 1.5 ERA, and she threw over 1,300 strikes and just under 600 balls on the year. The Farmington Knights won their first ever district championship this year, and this was only possible because of Kayla's hard work and her dedication to excelling beyond even her biggest expectation. She has won honor after honor in her 4 years here, but this year was her best year. She was all conference, all district, all region, and made all state. First time that a softball player has done so in Farmington history as a softball player. Every coach knows how important it is to have such great leadership, and I can't speak enough on Kayla's role as our team captain. She's been our captain for 2 years, and we are greatly going to miss that leadership role. I'm not sure that we have anybody who can fill that position, so I'm hoping that Kayla will come back and give some guidance, I hope. She's such a strong role model on and off the field. She led our athletes in a direction that I will forever be grateful as a coach. Our girls now know what success looks like, what it feels like, and what hard work they have to put in to gain that success. It's only due to Kayla's leadership that we made it as far as we did this year. You know, we hope to be successful in the years to come when we're only losing 2 seniors, but we know that Kayla's work on the mound and off the field as a leader, that it's going to hurt next year. So unfortunately, this was her senior year, and we have to wish her luck as she moves on to bigger and better opportunities. She is continuing her softball career at Central Methodist University, which I'm a little bummed about. I graduated from Missouri Valley, and I'm not sure that I can put on anything green and go and support her, but I might be able to manage. Once in a while I'll have the purple underneath. As her coach, I'm truly going to miss her presence on the team. I can kind of speak where Coach was talking about. Kayla's scary on the mound. You know, when she's out there, the ball gets hit straight back at her, and I'm thinking, oh Lord, she caught it, please tell me she's not hurt. And she just gives you that look, and she gets right back on the mound, and all I'm thinking is, Lord help me, you know, please let her be okay, because I don't know if we can make it another game if she's not okay. And she never tells you if she's hurt. You know, she could be out there in the sectional game with all kinds of problems, and I have no idea that she's even injured. So she works beyond anything that any coach could ever hope for on our team, and we're really going to miss her. So as her coach, I want to say that I am so proud of you. You have become a well-rounded student athlete on and off the field. I know that your future is going to be bright. I can't wait to hear about your success in college, and if you know softball, I know a lot of times, especially at the collegiate level, the pitcher doesn't ever get to hit, but if your pitcher or if your coach does not let you hit next year, I may have to make a trip to Central Methodist to let him know what an idiot he is. So I don't think that's going to happen. As you can see, her numbers should speak as hard as she should go. But she was going to be a great asset to Central Methodist, and we truly are going to miss her. So it is my honor to present to you Kayla Nash. Thank you.
Here to speak for two-time Coach of the Year Jeff Montgomery is Festus assistant coach Drew Horrell.
Lauren Todd here, senior catcher from Festus High School. Lauren has been voted to the Dream Team a total of 3 times, including this season. She is the only second Festus Tiger to receive Dream Team recognition 3 different years. Her career numbers include 122 RBIs and 139 hits in her 4 years of starting for the varsity Festus Tigers. Lauren was also first team all-conference and first team all-district this year. Lauren is an outstanding student. She has a GPA of 3.9, and she'll be taking her talents to the University of Indianapolis to play softball next year. Lauren is without a doubt the best left-handed hitter that Festus High School has had and was part of the 4 teams that won a combined total of 78 games during her career. Lauren unfortunately had a back injury that cut her senior year short by about 3 weeks. Festus High School would like to thank all the coaches that voted for her. Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren Todd, Festus High School.
Our next presenter just completed his 14th season as head coach for his school. He's the only coach the school has ever known in that sport. They were co-conference champs this year, and he has 154 total wins under his belt. From North County High School, Steve Elam.
Thank you. We are here to recognize Jessica Newberry. Success isn't given, it's earned. For the past 7 years, I've had the privilege of observing Jessica Newberry doing just this. You see, Jessica's softball is not just a fall sport. It's a love, a passion that she feels when she wakes up every morning and a dream that she has every night when she goes to bed. Her parents, Chris and Michelle, have turned their basement into a pitching haven, a place where she can pitch, and then pitch some more. Jessica is also a scholar athlete as well. She is first in her class and is a member of the NCHS marching band. I couldn't even begin to comment on the artistic talents, but if I could, they would include words like breathtaking, stunning, and phenomenal. I know that everyone is here to honor Jessica Newberry for her accomplishments in softball, but I am here to celebrate Jessica's success in life. Congrats, Jessica. You've earned it. Jessica Newberry.
Our next coach is a district championship coach this season. He was able to surpass 100 wins this year in his 7th year as head coach from St. Pius High School. Please welcome Kevin Halley.
You're going to see me a couple of times tonight. I'm representing all 5 of our athletes here for our different coaches, but this one, standing to the right of me, does hold a special place in my coaching memories. Kelly is a 4-year starter, and I do consider it 4 years. She missed most of her junior year due to an injury, but we could not wait to get her back in the lineup as soon as she was able to get back into it. It's telling that that's our only season with a losing record was the year that she wasn't able to play. So during her 4 years, she was first team all conference 3 times, first team all district 3 times, first team all region 2 times in 2 different classes, and was first team all state this year in class 2. She's part of the only class that's gone through St. Pius softball to have 2 district championships, and was a member of the only conference championship in program history when we split it with Festus her sophomore year. Finished with an overall record of 56 wins, 38 losses, and 1 tie. So over those 4 years, 3+ years, I'm sorry, Kelly's has career numbers that have put her either at the top or near the top of many of our statistical categories in program history. She has a .516 career batting average, 130 hits, 8 home runs, 105 runs batted in, 800 slugging percentage, a .981 fielding percentage. She only made 10 errors in 4 years. I will say 8 of those were made while either playing third base or shortstop, so part of the blame for that one goes on some coach for forcing her to play out of position, but we're not going to talk too much about that. I'm excited to see her move on and play softball at Drury over the next few years in Springfield. As the head coach at St. Pius, it's my job to try to fill the shoes in which she's leaving. But it's not simply going to be as simple as just sliding somebody over at first base or writing a new name into the 3rd spot in order, which won't be easy to do. The leadership void, she's a 2-year captain for us, and probably maybe at times, even while not recognized in one, was a 3-year captain, will be the toughest thing to fill. And I'm just not quite sure how myself and the team and the coaching staff are going to do that moving forward. But what I'm going to miss the most is the role model that she has been for my 2-year-old daughter. Kelly always went looking for Bryn when Bryn was at the field, picked her up, played with her, ran around with her, played some version of catch with her. It was mostly just throw it at Bryn and watch her go chase it. And that's just not something you find in many teenagers these days. So I can only hope that as Bryn gets older, that she starts to show some of the traits and the characteristics that Kelly has shown me and that we have come to appreciate over the last 4 years. So we're going to be sad to see her go. I think probably like some of the other ones that we're going to announce here today, some other coaches are probably extremely excited to see her go. But we look forward to what she has moving forward, and we congratulate her on her Dream Team awardee.
It's a good thing we have all these players to make the coaches look good, right? Our next presenter had led his team to the most wins in program history this year. They ended up 21-3. They were conference champs as well. From Windsor High School, Wayne Montgomery.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank Regional J-98 for putting on this fine event here today. One of the first things I want to talk about, and I don't think everybody in the audience realizes how much softball talent is in this room today. There's 10 girls on the Dream Team here, and if you took these 10 young ladies, you could probably make a pretty solid Division I softball program. That's how talented these young ladies are, and I don't know if everybody in the room realizes that we've never had this much talent in the area. And I know it's an honor for my 2 young ladies to be associated with this group as well, because they are great players as well. One thing I want to talk about, you know, without these 2 young ladies, I don't think we would have had as strong a season as we did. We were 21-3 during the season and 7-0 in the conference, like they said just now. But I think the mentality that they bring to the game and how hard they work, their dedication on and off the field and all the things that they've done has helped transform a program. We were a program that was struggling a few years back, and without the help of these 2 young ladies and the other players, of course, that play, we were able to change kind of a culture and create a winning program. So I'm very proud of these 2 young ladies because of that. And just to be clear, this is Madison, that's Kristen on the other side there, because sometimes you get multiple players up here, you may not know that. The first young lady I want to talk about is Madison Harris, who is probably, my 4-year-old daughter looks at her as probably her best friend. She comes to the games. Madison plays duck, duck, goose with her after the games and all these things, and entertains her and stuff along that line, so that's one of her duties. But Madison has been our leadoff hitter ever since her freshman year. She is now a junior. She is the one that kind of gets her offenses started. She's always can be counted on in clutch situations. I have to say, you know, dated back to last year, just to show how much of a clutch player she is. We were playing down at St. Vincent. She had a family member that had some health problems. I know she was concerned about it. It was kind of playing on her mind quite a bit, you know, and I talked to her before the game just to make sure she was all right. Went out there and played. She went 5 for 5. Had the game-winning hit. So just the caliber of a player she is, that she can step it up in key moments. And I think that's been Madison all 3 years I've had her at the varsity level. She had, you know, this year she batted way over 500. So, I mean, if she wasn't on base at least once or twice a game, it was a rarity. And I would probably best explain her as a gamer if I had to say anything about her. She might dive 2 or 3 times, and that's just in pregame, just trying to do ground balls. She gets mad at me if I hit them right at her. She wants to dive. She wants to make those great plays and all that stuff, and that's just the mentality that she has. Even a week after our season was over, she was wanting to hit some balls up in the cage, so it doesn't stop with her. She continues nonstop year-round. Just statistics-wise, not to rattle off too many, but she batted .574 in the season. She had 54 hits, which anytime a high school player gets over 50 hits, that's quite a bit, and less, you know, about 100 at bats. She had 1 home run, 27 RBIs, 14 stolen bases. She was second-team All-State this year as an infielder, first-team All-Region. She's been first-team All-Conference the last 2 years. second team all-region last year. And I would say, as her and Kristen both, not only do they do a lot of great things on the field, but they do a lot of great things in the classroom. She is a member of National Honor Society, Student Council. She is also an honor student. She's in concert choir. You'll notice she has to leave early today. She's in Windsor Castle, and they need her to sing in this event today. She has ranked 25 out of 238. She's got a 4.2 GPA. So she is not only excelling on the field, but also in the classroom, and that's Madison Harris. The other young lady that I like to talk about is Kristen Smutzler. She is a senior. I am very proud to be able to have the opportunity to coach her over the last few years, and I've learned from her probably more than I've learned from any other kid. In certain situations, I think that I may not heard her or listened to her like I probably should have. When she came in as a freshman, she might have said she played outfield, but I thought she said infield. So I put her in the infield all the time that year, and I know that Coach Haley was saying that he had a young lady put her in several different positions. And Kristen, her first 2 years, I put her at third base, I put her at shortstop, I put her at second, put her at catcher. I moved her around quite a bit. And her true calling was outfield, and we found out later on and stuff. But I think that was one mistake I made as a coach. One other one that she'll be gladly tell you about is her first game as a varsity player as a freshman. I only put her in to pitch run. And she clearly states to me every time for the next 4 years that I made a mistake and I didn't trust her enough to put her in the game. And I'm sitting there trying to tell her how to run the bases. And she's like, I know how to do this. I got it, Coach. Don't worry about it. From that day on, I realized that she needed to be in the lineup. Every time that we did put her in there, she excelled quite often. She went on to, finally her junior year, we settled in, putting her in the outfield full time, and it made a major difference for us as a team. She's one of the better outfielders in the St. Louis area. She played center field for us all year. Defensively, I don't know if, we went 21-3. Our pitchers were pretty solid, but I think a lot of that can be contributed to our defense. And Kristen would track down many of fly balls out there. She had a cannon for an arm. We were playing DeSoto this year in the conference game, and girl hits a line drive. I thought for sure that's going to get down. This is going to break this game open. They're going to probably beat us. And she comes in, runs in, makes a heck of a play, catches it. A girl standing like 2 or 3 feet from third base. She almost doubles her off and just throws an unbelievable ball to third base and just showed off that arm. And then after that, I know that Coach Gimmer and along with other coaches that were there watching that day, we're definitely not going to run on her in future games. But she made numerous great plays in the field. In the outfield, or from the plate, she hit, over the course of her career, she hit 16 home runs for Windsor. She drove in 141 RBIs in her entire time at Windsor, which was like 260 at-bats, which most baseball players in the pros get that. About 140 RBIs is going to take them about 500 bats to get there. So it tells you how good she was. But this year she batted for us .451, 37 hits, 9 doubles, 4 triples, 3 home runs, 39 RBIs, 13 stolen bases. She was first team All-State as an outfielder. She was also the co-Jefferson County Conference Player of the Year, along with the Krodinger girl. She was first team All-Region, first team All-Conference. And like Madison, I said she excelled in the classroom as well. She's a member of National Honor Society. She's a member of Student Council. She's a 3-sport athlete. She does track, basketball, and softball, of course. She's a Windsor Way Award winner. She also, along with Maddie, they both volunteer for Special Olympics. Kristen has a 4.6 GPA. She's ranked 8th out of 230 people in her class. So not only does she excel on the field, but she also excels in the classroom. But, I do just want to say that, I have a 4-year-old daughter. She loves being around these girls all the time. She comes to practice. She comes to workouts and stuff. And if my daughter turns out to be anything like these young ladies, I'll be very proud. So if you would, please congratulate Madison Harris and Kristen Smutzler for making the 2014 Dream Team.
With that, it's time to present our plaques to our Dream Team Softball Player of the Year. And we ask who the winner is to come accept the plaque from Tommy, get your picture taken with Meredith, and we'll post that on the website. This year's winner is a senior. 567 batting average, 592 on base, 55 hits, 6 triples, 5 home runs, 42 RBIs. That's just her offensive numbers. She pitches as well. 17 games started, 23 games played, a 19-2 record, 1 save, and 26 earned runs, a 1.55 ERA. For the second straight year, Courtney Kroninger from DeSoto. While they're getting their picture taken, we'll announce our Coach of the Year. And again, we ask that the coach who wins this comes up and says a few words in acceptance. And when you win a state championship, there's a good chance you're going to get it. From DeSoto, Matt Gimmer.
Just wanted to say thanks to KJFF for putting this on. Huge thanks to, obviously, my 3 seniors. They were a much bigger role than even as we're sitting here today than we can imagine. Gotta give a thanks to my parents. Hopefully, I think they raised me right. My dad, I'm the second Gimmer to win softball Coach of the Year. So, you know, I got a good guy to learn from and who mentored me, and couldn't be happy with him. And one story that I thought, one story I didn't realize was going to take as much interest throughout the area was the fact that my mom was actually the one that started the softball program at DeSoto. And when Tommy found that out, he really enjoyed that one. And so, you know, I have a lot of softball background that I've gotten to learn from, and I just can't say enough about what my parents have meant to me, and what, geez, the parents at DeSoto for putting up with a first-year coach, first-year teacher, and really at times not knowing what's going on and dealing with my inexperience. But, you know, I can only say it about like this is you're only as good as your players. And, you know, I was blessed to have, I mean, more than blessed to have, in my opinion, the best players that we can find. So thank you. Thanks to my girls.
We've only had a softball dream team since 2007. He's the 3rd DeSoto coach to make Coach of the Year, and his dad was the first back in 2007, so that's pretty cool. How about one more big round of applause for the 2014 softball dream team? Whoever's doing the whistling, you rock. Keep that up, man. That's awesome. Let's move on to volleyball. Our first presenter in the sport of volleyball has spent 6 seasons with her team. This was her best one yet, going 20-10-3. From Arcadia Valley, Coach Tara Lamb.
I'd like to take a minute to thank J-98 for their interest, the coverage, and the recognition of our local athletes, and to congratulate the elite group of athletes that are seated behind me. At this time, it's my honor to introduce and recognize the achievements of Miss Kristen Williams. She's the daughter of Laura Marquis and Tim Williams. She's a senior at Arcadia Valley and a 2-sport athlete. She's involved in numerous clubs and activities. She takes her education and grades seriously and is ranked 8th in her class. Kristen is a 4-year varsity starter for me, 3rd-year captain. Her knowledge and understanding of the game and her communication skills make my job that much easier as she takes charge on the court. She's a leader. She leads by example on and off the court, so it's no surprise that she led my team in every area with the exception of assists. Her stats for this season include 377 kills, 259 digs, 222 service points with 79 aces, 153 blocks, 39 ace blocks. She set a record at Arcadia Valley for 1,342 high school career kills. Kristen's achievements include 4-time first team all-conference, 1-time second team all-district, 3-time first team all-district, 4-team first team all-region, 3-team academic all-state, first-time second-team All-State, and two-team Dream Team athlete. As incredibly deserving as Kristen is for her volleyball accomplishments and honors to be recognized today, I did not want to leave without recognizing who she is as a person. And though I have many examples to choose from, I narrowed them down to two that I wanted to share with you today. That really speaks volumes as to who Kristen Williams really is. The first is from Kristen's Dream Team interview that aired this past Thursday. She was asked what her favorite memory or most significant memory from this season was. Kristen did not go into the many, many times she led in every aspect of the game. She didn't boast or brag or shine a light on her personal accomplishments, although she could have, and it would have been understood and supported. Instead, her most significant or favorite memory was about sharing a milestone moment with her sister Megan. It was not about the milestone itself, although she is the only athlete in AV history to have accomplished 1,000 high school career kills, and it was only our third game of the season. It was that her sister gave her the perfect shoot set for that milestone. And I'm going to tell you, there's nobody more excited than her sister Megan in that moment. The second example I'd like to share with you also speaks volumes as to who Kristen is. As I was preparing my players' senior posters to be hung in our gym, I asked my seniors to send me a quote they wanted on their poster. Kristen's reads, "Far from what I once was, but not yet what I'm going to be." That quote represents Kristen as a player and as a person, one who strives to learn and to improve and to better herself and those around her every single day. So it is with great honor for me to say congratulations to Kristen and her achievements. Good luck in following your dreams of playing college volleyball at Mineral Area College, and best wishes to what your bright future holds.
In her 3 years as head coach with her school, our next presenter has been no worse than 5 games over 500. She's had back-to-back seasons with over 20 wins, and they were regular season co-conference champs in the MAAA this year. From Central High School in Park Hills, Jen Mills.
I'm going to start off by apologizing. Megan has to leave right after this. They started basketball practice about 10 minutes ago. So football coaches, bear with me. I'm going to try to not make volleyball take a full hour like softball did. It is my pleasure to introduce Megan Skaggs. Sorry, softball coaches, you talked for a really long time. It is my honor to present to you Megan Skaggs. Megan is a junior at Central. Megan has been a 3-year varsity starter and a key member of the volleyball and basketball teams while she has been at Central High School. This year, Megan got moved from an outside hitter to a middle hitter. We had 3 juniors and 7 seniors that we graduated. So Megan had a lot of people around her to help her out, but we were lacking that middle. So I took my best outside hitter and put her in the middle and kind of threw her into the fire there, and she did a really good job. Megan finished the season with 21 aces, 166 service points. She finished with a 3.71 hitting percentage, 44.5% kill percentage. She had 40 blocks and was second on our team in blocks behind her sister Sydney. She had 276 kills, and that led us for the year. So I believe this is the 3rd year in a row that she's led us in kills. She had 264 digs, which is the first time that she has been second in that category. She's led us her freshman and sophomore year. But moving her to the middle took away a lot of those front row digs that she would have got when she pulled back from the front row. This year, Megan was a co-captain with her sister Sydney and Kinsey. She was academic all-state the last 2 years and will be again this year. That gets decided in the spring, but her academics are pretty top-notch. This year, she was a unanimous all-conference selection, so this is her 3rd year at all-conference. She was also a first-team all-region, and she was second-team all-district, and then KTJJ Dream Team for the 2nd year in a row. While at school, she's an active member of our Varsity C Club, Pep Club, Rebel Student Advisory Committee, Fellowship of Student Athletes, and Student Council. So she not only is academically sound, but she also is very involved in our school district. You can find Megan at just about any sporting event that we have at school. She's always out there supporting the other teams. But Personally, I know all these other coaches have said that their daughters, look up to those athletes and things like that. I don't have a daughter. Megan would love for me to have a daughter, but I don't have a daughter. But the biggest compliment I can probably give her is that any younger player that comes through our program needs to look up to Megan. She's in the weight room all the time. We have her in our advanced PE class, but she's in there any given moment, extra time that she can get in the gym. She's in there for both volleyball and basketball. So she's very dedicated. I know she spends a lot of her off-season time in the summer, not only doing volleyball stuff, but traveling with her mom, playing basketball. So she's very committed to whatever she is into 100%. So I can't say enough good things about her, and I hope I can get to talk a lot more about her next year for her senior year, because looking at this list of volleyball players, Kristen Williams, Kelsey Kingsland, Courtney Knox, Courtney Kekek, Alex Spears, I'm really glad for you guys to be up here, but I'm also really glad that you're seniors, okay? Because as much as I love y'all, coaching against you is kind of hard. But I know some other coaches feel that same way about some of my seniors, but lucky for us, we've got Megan back next year. So we look forward to next year. Thank you.
Megan, if Coach Mapes makes you run for being late, just send him to me, okay? He knows the importance of making the dream team, though. I think he will understand. Up next, from DeSoto High School, head volleyball coach Lindsay Brinkman.
On behalf of Kelsey, her parents, and myself, I would first like to thank the coaches for recognizing her talents this season, despite a disappointing season for our team, making this honor that much more meaningful to all of us. Before talking about her contributions to the sport of volleyball, I would first like to point out Kelsey's involvement in our school. She has played varsity basketball for the last 4 years, being recognized for this award twice in that sport. National Honor Society, A+ program, our Gifted program, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Special Olympics volunteer, team leader for Spirit Club, many activities in our church, as well as playing for the Show Me Rock 17 Volleyball Club last year, which was ranked #1 in the Gateway region. She also ranks in the top 5% of her class and is one of only 2 students in school history to get college credit for taking Calculus 2 while in high school. Not only has Kelsey challenged herself in the classroom, but she's always pushed herself on the volleyball floor as well. We've had a lot of unexpected changes in our team from season to season since Kelsey's freshman year, and she's always fought through the adversity and been a true team player. She has been the leader, driving force, and most importantly, the glue of our team for the last several years. Her stats this year include 287 kills, 106 service points, 19 aces, 403 receptions, 216 digs, and 84 blocks. She's made all conference and all district teams for the last 3 years and all region the last 2. Kelsey has committed to continue her volleyball career at the Naval Academy next year, which I think attests to her self-discipline and drive to challenge herself. Though her talent stands out on the floor, it is her commanding leadership role and communication that have proven to be invaluable. She's the type of player whose energy and passion for the game makes those around her better. Kelsey has always pushed her teammates to strive for better and help them in making corrections without being condescending or arrogant. She has always shared a mutual respect for her teammates and has handled pressure both on and off the court with charisma and ease. She truly encompasses what it means to be a captain and well represents what this award embodies. Thank you, Kelsey Kingsland.
Tammy and I were just talking over there. They have a sequel to Calculus now? My goodness. That's not a movie I want to see. I didn't even make it to Calculus 1. Our next presenter has racked up 40 wins in just 2 seasons as head coach with her school. Both of those seasons have resulted in district championships. From Farmington High School, Julie Ward.
It's my honor to introduce you Courtney Knox. Courtney is the daughter of Brenda Knox and Richard Knox. Courtney is a great athlete on and off the floor. Some of her stats for this season include 286 service attempts with 31 aces and only 23 errors for a serving percentage of 92%. On top of being a great server, she has also had 144 digs, which is the 3rd highest on our team, and she's our setter. Her assist total for just her senior year was 399, which shows that she got to just about every pass that was even in the vicinity of where she was at. Her total assists for her 4 years on varsity are a total of 2,299. She has been a team captain for myself for the past 2 years and has been a 3-year varsity starter. She has been awarded First Team All-Conference for the past 2 years, First Team All-District for the past 3 years, as well as All-Region for the past 3 years. She has been on Academic All-State since she's been a sophomore, which we are assuming that she's going to be again because she is an outstanding student. And just this year was awarded to Honorable Mention All-State Team as well as the J-98 Volleyball Dream Team. She has also been a part of the Farmington Volleyball Squad that has obtained 4 district championships. Since her freshman year, she has been a part of that. Outside of volleyball, Courtney is involved with Student Council for the past 3 years, NHS 2 years, GOSC 2 years, FCA 1 year, and she officiates basketball at the lower levels, AAU, and also she is the main official at the Civic Center Volleyball Rec League. She loves it. I'm truly going to miss her next year. She's been such a great team captain for me. She's such a natural leader, and she's a one-of-a-kind player. And lucky for me, she's going to continue her volleyball career at Lindenwood Belleville. So ladies and gentlemen, Courtney Knox.
Now, our next coach also happens to be the mother of the athlete who's about to be presented to you. So instead of that happening, we're going to let Dawn Kekak just relax and watch everything unfold as her assistant coach, Tracy Oder, takes the podium to talk about Courtney Kekak.
First, I'd like to say this is my first experience with the Dream Team, and it's a pretty awesome experience, a lot of awesome athletes behind me. So I'll start by saying Courtney's the daughter of Larry and Dawn Kekak. I've known her since she was a little kid, and I was lucky enough to get to be on the coaching staff with her this year. She has made first team all-conference and all-district for the past 3 years. Her junior and senior year, she was all-region first team and all-state second team. And on top of all that, she has also made academic all-state the past 2 years, and with no doubt will be there this year as well. Courtney is a 4th-year starter for varsity. She has a career total of 1,341 kills. This year alone, she had 396 kills, 79 blocks, and 263 digs. Pretty much she was amazing all year long. As a captain, she led our team in almost every statistical category. This young lady is an amazing athlete who gives 100% and motivates her teammates to play with the same intensity that she does. Courtney's that player who comes to the gym an hour early and then asks if she can stay an hour later to get a few more hits in, and then ask all of her players to stay so they can join her. Free time really isn't an option for her. She wants to be in the gym with her team, working all the time to improve, and it doesn't stop there. She does her homework at home. She's lucky enough to have grandparents that come to every game, and her grandpa videotapes every single game home and away, and she goes home every night after the game and watches the film and critiques herself, comes in the next day and tells her team what they need to work on, what she noticed in the film. Our coverage wasn't good here. We need to work on that. So she does a good job. She does her homework. She has a great connection with all the players. After a win or a loss, she can rally them all together and say, hey, we need to work on this, or you did a great job. And after every game, you're guaranteed to see her go speak to players on the opposing team and tell them what a great job they did. And she's got friends on every team, and she's always going to talk to them, win or loss. As a parent, I can say that she's a fantastic role model. I have 2 daughters, a 5 and an 11-year-old. My 11-year-old is loving volleyball and would love to be a Courtney Kekak in her future, and I encourage that. And then my youngest just loves Courtney Kekak altogether. So she's just a great kid. She strives to do her best in volleyball, basketball, and academics. She's currently ranked 5th in her class of 234. National Honor Society and Student Council are just a small fraction of the organizations she's associated with. I also have some very personal experiences to show her good character. I have a nephew who has Down syndrome, and he's been in the same class with Courtney since elementary. He has a few quirks, doesn't really get along with many kids, but he has always considered Courtney one of his good friends, and to this day he'll let you know that Courtney Kekak is his friend because she doesn't see the difference in him, and she's always made him feel like one of everybody else. So that just one of the many things to show what good character she has. So pretty much to sum it up, when Courtney graduates this year, North County is going to lose an athlete, a scholar, and a great person. I hate that I only got 1 year with her coaching volleyball, but we'll get to watch her in basketball coming up. So she's a good girl. She'll be greatly missed next year. We wish her a lot of luck.
Pretty amazing numbers for our next presenter. In the last 3 seasons alone, he's racked up nearly 90 wins. From Perryville High School, David Murley.
I'd like to start by congratulating all the athletes for making the Dream Team and to thank J-98 for all their support and coverage throughout the season. You guys do a great job. To my right is Alexandria Spears. Alex is the daughter of Scott and Yvonne Spears. Alex is a senior for us this year, and she is the most decorated volleyball athlete to ever play at Perryville High School. Some of her accomplishments include 2-time Dream Team member, 2-year captain, 4-year starter, and she started every varsity game for her 4-year career. She was first team all-conference 3 years, first team all-district 3 years, first team all-region 3 years, all-Southeast Missourian team 3 years, second team all-state 2 years, first team all-state 1 year, and she is a 2014 Jefferson County Large School Conference Player of the Year. Alex led the team this year in kills with 346, a kill percentage of 37.5, a serve-receive score of 2.05, and she served at 97%. Through her career, Alex helped lead the team to 2 conference championships, 3 district championships, 1 Final Four appearance, and she started for us on our school record 33-win season. Alex also owns these school records: kills for a career with 1,066, and wins as a varsity starter with 117. That's an average of 29.25 wins a season for 4 years. Alex's skills on the court has also earned her a scholarship to play volleyball next year here for Mineral Area. Another of Alex's accomplishments, one of which I know her parents are very proud of, is that Alex is an academic all-state student athlete all 4 years of her high school career. She is currently ranked 7th out of 148 students and has a cumulative GPA of 3.96. Alex was often seen during the freshman games in the bleachers working on homework or studying for a test. The honors I've mentioned are just a small part of who Alex is. As good of a volleyball player as she is, and she's a great one, Alex is even a better person. Alex will always go out of her way to help any friend in need and always places the needs of others ahead of herself. The same dedication, commitment, and hard work she puts into volleyball, she puts into all other aspects of her life. These qualities will guarantee her great success in all that she chooses to do. Alex also dedicates her time to the youth of Perryville Volleyball, volunteering her time with Little Diggers and our club teams. Alex is seen as a hero to the younger girls in the community. Alex humbly accepts that role, and she is a great example and a great role model to all. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexandria Spears.
Here to speak on behalf of St. Pius volleyball coach Dustin Cutts is St. Pius athletic director Kevin Howley.
While I have not coached either one of these two ladies in volleyball, I can attest to the highness of their character and their skill level. Because I've gotten to know most of them I've gotten to know Grace over the last 4 years, and I have her in class this year. And I've known Jenna and her family since she was little. She outgrew me about 6 years ago. So I can speak to that very highly of them. But both of them are repeat Dream Teamers from last year. I'm going to start with Jenna here, who's closest to me. Jenna, as a sophomore this year, had 416 kills, 60 aces, 42 blocks, and 345 digs. I'm not exactly sure what her 2-year totals are, but they're probably very tremendous considering the skill level. She was second team Post-Dispatch All-Metro this year. She's been, I believe, first team All-State in both Class 2 and Class 3, first team All-Region, All-District both years, and this year she was the JCAA Small School Conference Player of the Year. During her 2 years at St. Pius, she has 2 conference championships, 2 Final Fours, a second and a third place finish, and has been a part of 62 wins in just 2 years. So I know that the volleyball program is looking forward to continuing big things, and Jenna will be a big part of that. Grace, on the other side of Jenna, has a resume that probably will be tough to surpass by many people, especially coming through our program. Grace is a 4-year varsity starter, and during those 4 years, she's seen 4 conference championships. She has 4 Final Four appearances in 2 different classes, 3 trips to the state championship game, including a state championship in 2011, and she has been a part of 127 wins as a varsity player. Almost, I think that's 32 a year. So this year she had 243 kills, 37 aces, 49 blocks, 250 digs. I don't have her career stats, but I'm sure Grace leaves the Lancers ranked near the top or at the top of most of the career leaderboards in all of the major volleyball statistics. And there's probably many other things that she probably leaves with. She's been first team All-State in both Class 2 and Class 3. She's been first team All-Region and All-District multiple times, if not all 4 times, in both Class 2 and Class 3. She's been All-Conference 4 times. I believe first team All-Conference 4 times. So next year, Grace is moving on to play volleyball at Division I Bryant University in Smithville? Smithville Field? Okay. Smithville, Rhode Island next year to play volleyball. I'm sure Grace will help her attain the similar success levels that she was able to do for St. Pius while she was in high school. So congratulations to these 2 fine young ladies. Congratulations, ladies. Congratulations.
So I wouldn't quite say this is a Cinderella story because this program has been good for a long time, but in just her first year, our next presenter as head coach led her team to a 2nd place finish at state, nearly 30 wins, just the 2nd time in school history that the school has ever gone that far. From St. Vincent High School in Perryville, Coach Cindy Sissel.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to thank KTJJ for putting on a great award ceremony, and here to my right, Miss Katie Versman. I asked a lot of her this year. She's one of the best outside hitters that St. Vincent had, and we were short of middle, and I went to her and I asked her if she would be so kind as to move over, and she accepted gracefully and did very well. I mean, in her first year, she's a 3-year varsity starter. She's my floor captain. She's a 5'9" junior, which means I get her back. Good for me. She's a daughter of Darren and Sue Versman. She had 191 kills. She had 31 service aces, 346 serve receptions, 334 digs. She had 96 total blocks, with 55 of them being solo. She's ranked 8th in her class with a 3.94 average. She's all-state academic. She's first team all-conference, all-district, all-region, first team all-state, and of course the KTJJ Dream Team. She's involved in many numerous other outside school activities. She's got young kids that look up to her. They've asked her to help them. She goes out to a gym and helps young kids try to learn the sport of volleyball. I mean, she just lives, this kid lives volleyball. That's the first thing. She's, all I want to do is play volleyball. That's all she wants to do. And her goal was to go to state, and I've been blessed with a very good team and very good kids. And congratulations, Katie. Thank you.
It's been talked about how much talent is in this room, and there's all kinds of talent, but one thing that never changes, it seems like the same coaches are back here and represented every year at the Dream Team ceremony, and that's no coincidence. Great players are made by great coaches, and our next presenter is one of those. She surpassed 600 wins this season. She's now at 615 wins for her career. That's in 32 years as the head coach of her team, all with the same team. They were small schools conference champs this year in the MAAA. Nancy Fisher from Valley Catholic.
It is my pleasure this afternoon to introduce to you Susan Roth. Susan is the daughter of Dave and Sheila Roth of St. Genevieve. She was selected to the all-conference, all-district, all-regional, and all-state volleyball teams this past season. And she was also academic all-state in volleyball last year, and as so many other coaches have mentioned, we anticipate she will be likewise again this year. As a volleyball coach, I think there are two sort of categories of players. Some players set foot in the gym as freshmen, and you can already recognize that they are going to be impact players immediately. Other players, through hard work and patience, gradually develop their skills and ultimately become excellent players by the time they're seniors. Susan Roth fit into this latter category. It was easy to see when she was a freshman that she possessed some innate athletic talent. Excellent vertical jump, quick reaction time, good mental focus. She just needed to work hard to translate that athletic talent into volleyball talent, and she did just that, gradually improving as a player. But her biggest leap in skill improvement occurred between last season and this season. As a junior, Susan saw very limited playing time, but recorded 42 kills on the season. This year, as a full-time front row player for us, she notched 295 kills. For those of you who are math savvy, Susan had a 7-fold increase in her number of kills between her junior and senior season. Now, I've coached for 32 years, and I've never had the pleasure of coaching a player who showed that much improvement within the span of just 1 year. Those 295 kills in a single season this year rank her 4th all-time among Valley volleyball players and put her in the company of a couple of other well-recognized Valley players and former Dream Team members, Kara Shilley, Allie Dalton, and Mackenzie Wiffler. As is true of so many of our student athletes at Valley, both young men and young women, what makes us all so proud of them is not their athletic skills, but the overall character that they exhibit day in and day out in their interaction with teammates, classmates, faculty, and staff. Now, I've been around Susan for more than 6 years, starting when she came to our grade school volleyball camps, and I can honestly say that I have never heard her utter a harsh word to any of her teammates or to ever denigrate any of our opponents or the officials. She has always shown the utmost respect for the sport of volleyball and all of those associated with it, players, coaches, officials, and fans. Susan, it has been an honor to coach you and teach you these last 4 years. I know I speak for the entire Valley family in thanking you for being a great role model for the other students and in congratulating you on the honor of being selected to the KTJJ Dream Team. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Susan Roth.
Before we go further, could we please give Coach Fisher a big round of applause for surpassing 600 wins this season? Coach, you're an inspiration. You've done so much to help us out at the radio station. Thank you very much. It's now time to announce our Player of the Year in volleyball. Same song and dance. Come up and get your plaque with Tommy, get your picture taken as soon as I announce it. This year's Player of the Year in volleyball, 416 kills, 60 aces, 42 blocks, 345 digs, first team All-State in Class 3, first team All-Region, All-District, and the Jefferson County Conference Player of the Year, also a perfect 4.0 GPA. Jenna Otek from St. Pius. This was an extremely tight vote this year, but big ups to Jenna as a sophomore to be Player of the Year. She has a chance to do that 2 more years in a row if she can keep it up. So just incredible stuff from Jenna. But again, a very close vote for Player of the Year. Also a very close vote for Coach of the Year because the coaches couldn't make up their mind this year. We have a tie, actually, and this does happen from time to time. You'll see that in your program. We'll have them come up one at a time, and we'll start with a coach who led her team to their first ever district title in school history from Jefferson High School, Ashley Nagel.
Well, I don't have any players here. If you're not familiar with Jefferson High School, we are only 6 years old, and I came here and started the program. So I am very glad that some of these girls are graduating. Hopefully my players can step into some of these roles next year. Really, we're here to celebrate the talent of all these players and the character, but it's important to note that these coaches here that you know, I meet them at camps, I meet them on the floor when we play them. They all have great character. They all have a lot of talent themselves. So I'm very honored and humbled to have received this award. So thank you to my coaches that have voted this. Thanks.
It's rare that a coach gets Coach of the Year without having players on the dream team, but it does happen from time to time, and it's kind of funny because we pretty much have to give it away when we call Coach Nagel and ask her to be here because, you know, why else would she be here? But thank you very much for coming today, Coach. The other Coach of the Year took her team farther than any other team in the listening area this season. From St. Vincent High School, Cindy Sissel.
Thank you so much. Thank you to my peers. It's very easy to do with the team that I was given. Very talented bunch. They played well, and I want to thank all my peers. And I do want to congratulate, nobody said anything, but I'm going to say it anyway, but I congratulate Nancy Fisher on winning the Peggy Johnson Award too last night for the state. She's been a role model, and I've watched her coach her teams as an official, and she's very inspiring to anyone. And if she's not, people need to open their eyes. So thank you for being an inspiration and giving advice. I took a lot of advice from her, so thanks again to the talented athletes I got, and to all of you, great, and thank you.
Coach Fisher is a four-time Coach of the Year at this Dream Team ceremony herself. Peggy Johnson is a legendary St. Genevieve volleyball coach as well. So very prestigious award awarded to Nancy Fisher. One more big round of applause for the 2014 Volleyball Dream Team. Next up is boys soccer, and our first presenter there led the team to its first ever district championship this season, going 16-7, including an 8-game winning streak prior to the final sectional loss from North County High School. Please welcome Steve Mosier.
Hi, thank you. I'd like to thank KTJJ for putting this on for our athletes this year. Levi Spray has been a huge part of North County history since his freshman year. Just this year, Levi had 39 goals and 20 assists in just one season. In his lifetime career, he had 97 goals, over 100 assists, a 4-time first team All-District, 2 times first team All-Region. He was first team All-State this year, 3-time Hillsborough tournament team, 3rd-year Dream Team, 3rd-year team captain, and this year was our first ever North County Soccer District Championship. So Levi has accomplished a lot in just his 4 years. He took a program who hasn't exactly been that great since its start, and he took it upon himself with the help of his teammates and took us to a district championship this year. That's pretty impressive for a high school student. So one thing I would like to mention, Levi is a one-of-a-kind player. A lot of coaches, like they mentioned earlier, said they like to see players leave. You know, they're like, oh, is this his 7th year in high school? It seems like he's been here forever. Levi was one of them. This year, I can't tell you how many coaches that come up to me is like, my goodness, Levi's been here for like 6 years, hasn't he? It seems like that, I know, but no, this is his last year, unfortunately. You know, they go back to do the little happy dance at the bench. They tell their student or the other athletes, Levi's gone, yes. That's good for them, bad for me. He was one of those kids you can say in late parts of the game, Levi, take it over, bud. This is your time to shine, your time to win the game for us. And 9 times out of 10, he did. He would go get that last-minute goal. He would go get that tying goal in the last dying seconds of the game after a phenomenal shot outside the 18. The game I'm talking about ended up taking us to overtime on another team's senior night, and we ended up beating them on their senior night, which, once again, Levi took it all upon himself to do it for us. That's something that I've never seen a high school student be able to do. Just turn a game around instantly. Not only is he a phenomenal player on the field, he's also an exceptional student at high school. He has a 10.9 GPA out of 11. He is top 10% in his class. Soccer players are also known for their smartness in school, and he is no exception. He's top flight of his school. And not only in school, in his community as well. He takes it upon himself as well to go down to the lower grades and help the kids. He's a ref for the recreational league that we have at Bonne Terre, and he likes to help kids there. He refs them, he teaches them. He also likes to help the incoming classmen to kind of get prepared for what's coming up for him, kind of what the role, the legacy he left for North County. He wants them to be aware that he doesn't want to leave this program and know that he doesn't have the right to fill his shoes. So he does. He doesn't have to worry about that. We have some great players coming in, all thanks to his help that he has trained them. Other than that, Levi, like I said, once-in-a-lifetime coaching athlete. I will be lucky to have another athlete to ever have the ability that he has. His brother Lucas, he is in attendance tonight. He's got some big shoes to fill, and hopefully he can fill them. If he does, we'll have a great couple years at North County. Levi Spray.
That's right, soccer coaches. There's another one coming up. You thought you were out of it, didn't you? Next up is our reigning coach of the year. In fact, for 2 straight years, led his team to just the 3rd state championship in school history in any sport this season, and of course the first for boys soccer. From Perryville, Jerry Fulton.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank KTJJ Radio and all the other soccer coaches, my assistant coaches, parents, and everybody else that supported us all year. It is my honor to stand here and talk to you about Matt Moran and Luke Slichting. We have 2 Lukes on the team, excuse me. Matt is the son of Vicki Moran of Perryville. Matt has played 4 years of varsity soccer and was captain the last 2 years. Luke is the son of Alan and Tracy Slichting of Perryville and has also played varsity soccer for 4 years and captained the last 2 years. I can't say enough about these 2 fine, outstanding gentlemen. They were a huge part of our team winning state this year. Matt was our rock in the middle of the field area this season, while Luke led the team in total scoring and controlled the top of our field. As a coach, you could never have asked for 2 better captains. Whether on or off the field, these 2 guys led our team by example. Luke was a guy who, if he saw someone was not happy or doing what they were supposed to be doing, he would talk to them, and usually after that, things went back to normal. These 2 guys together have played all their lives, and it shows. They know where the other one is at all times on the field and look for the opportunity to play the ball to them. I would love to sit here and take the credit for these 2 guys and what our team did this year, but it would not be true. Luke's father, Alan Slichting, coached these 2 boys till high school and should get the credit for doing a fine job of preparing them for the high school season. But they did not stop there. After their freshman year, we talked about what they did and what they wanted out of their soccer career, and they said they wanted to win a state championship and go play college soccer. So I challenged them to go back and play club ball to help this with their goals, and they did. But not only for them, but they took a few more of our players with them, and look what a difference it made. While these 2 gentlemen were at Perryville High School team, here are some of the records that they hold. They have a co-conference title with Pius, a conference title this year, 3 district titles last 3 years. They have played in 80 games the last 3 years with a record of 67 wins, 12 losses, and 1 tie. In those 67 wins, they have 47 of those wins were shutouts. This year, they outscored their opponents 130-13. In the last 3 years, they have outscored their opponents 331-50. Had the best season in school, best record in school this year is 29-1. The most people to score in one game, 8 different guys scored. All field players scored a goal this season. Most shutouts in one season, 19. Undefeated at home, undefeated in conference, undefeated in districts. Finished the season on a 25-game winning streak. First public school to win a state title in 10 years. Matt's stats are 13 goals and 23 assists this year with a career stats of 27 goals and 66 assists with 10 game-winning goals. Matt was named first team all-conference this year, first team all-district, first team all-region player of the year, first team all-state, and all-state player of the year. Luke's stats were 19 goals and 28 assists, which ties with all St. Louis with the most assists this year. Career stats are 37 goals, 64 assists. Luke was named first team all-conference player of the year this year, first team all-region, first team all-district, all-region offensive player of the year, and first team all-state. I know that both of these guys would do an awesome job at the next level. They are both still trying to decide where they're going to go to college, but wherever they do go to school, the team will be a better team when they get there. And I wish as the team as much success as they have brought to Perryville High School program. Even though we are sad to see them go, we know that we are a better soccer team and all around because of the things that they have done while they were here. Thanks to these guys will live forever in the history books at Perryville High School. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Matt Moran and Luke Slichting.
Our next presenter has been busy today because, well, he's been doing a good job as the athletic director. He has a lot of athletes on the Dream Team. Please welcome back to the podium Kevin Howley from St. Pius.
This time I get to speak for senior Dan Barton. Dan's been a 4-year varsity starter at St. Pius, a very successful 4 years for the soccer program. He's a midfielder by trade and played there, I believe, the first 3 years, but this year was forced into action up top as a forward. We had a strong enough, some people that could play in the midfield, but we needed somebody else to give some help up top, and Dan stepped into the role and did a great job. Dan finished this year with 20 goals and 12 assists for 52 points, would put him in the top 15 in the St. Louis area in total points. And it's in a very soccer-rich type of area. During his 4 years, Dan was multiple times all-district, all-region, all-conference, all-state, as he was this year, all of those. He was part of 2 conference championship teams, 3 district titles, did have 1 Final Four appearance as a freshman, where they finished in 3rd place, and helped St. Pius during his 4 years to 75 wins to 21 losses and 4 ties. So he's been around and been a very big part of a lot of success that we've had as a program and as a team over the last 4 years. We'll miss what he brings to the team on the field, skill-wise and technically wise, but even more importantly, the leadership and the experience that he brought to the field as a soccer player and as an individual will create even bigger shoes to fill for Coach Bokern moving forward. So Dan is not sure, I don't believe is sure where he's going to go next year yet. Hasn't, and that's fine, plenty of time. but whatever he does, we know, I know that he is going to be successful what he does, and wish him the best of luck in doing so. So congratulations to Dan Barton.
Our next presenter comes to us from Windsor High School. Please give a warm welcome for George Van Dyke of the Windsor Owls.
Thanks, Tommy. Thanks, Glenn. I'd like to first start off by just congratulating Coach Fulton in Perryville. They had an incredible year this year, and I talked to Jerry when he came down and beat us, that you guys should go on and win state, and I'm really proud of you guys, so good job, guys. And Matt and Luke, great job, guys. Levi, you too. Danny, see ya. All right, Alex Trenary here. I'm very, very honored that Alex got this award. If any of you guys know anything, we've kind of struggled the last 2 years after we won districts Alex's sophomore year, but he's been the rock in between the pipes. Ever since Collinsville game sophomore year is when he took over the starting role and kind of flip-flopped his sophomore year. But I've been very lucky to have Alex Trenary and just to know him as a student athlete. But some of his stats this year, we finished with 10 wins. 5 of those were shutouts, and Alex carried them. He logged 1,700 minutes this year. 203 saves, which is an unfortunate stat, which he led the St. Louis area in. It means our defense wasn't doing their job, and he was making a lot of saves. He had a few big games this year. Made some outstanding saves against Fox in a 1-0 loss. Our second game of the year was 104 degrees. I think the temperature on the field was about 150. He was outstanding. We finally beat Rolla in the Pacific tournament. It's taken about 4 years, but that win goes on Alex's gloves. He made 2 saves and PKs, and was on all tournament team this year for the Pacific tournament. We played Afton this year, who'd beaten us the last couple years. We won in PKs again because of this guy right here, and made 2 saves late in the game that were outstanding too, and I think 1 in overtime if I'm not mistaken. Senior night this year, he got a shutout against Brentwood. It was very nice, good for him to go out on senior night the way. And his last home game as a senior, we got a penalty kick with 31 seconds into the game, and I promised Alex that if we get a penalty kick in the game, he'd get it, and he went up and he buried it. So for about 60 some odd minutes, Alex had the game-winning goal and a shutout going into our last home game, and then we gave up a goal. So he didn't get the game winner, unfortunately, but he did get the win, and very, very proud of him. And of course, he did go up and bury that PK. Right now in school history, Alex has the all-time saves leader in the 3 years that he's been a varsity player, 2nd in minutes played in the 3 years, and he's 5th in wins with 23 wins. He was all-conference 2nd team this year, all-district 2nd team as a sophomore, and he only played 1 game in districts against Hillsborough, and yet he still made the all-district team, and I'm very proud of him. Alex was also the varsity captain unanimously for 2 years in a row. Alex is very active in school, as in most of the student athletes are here. Stuco for 4 years, Owl Crowd. He's a big member of the Owl Crowd, him and his friends. If you ever go to a Windsor basketball game, well, now he's playing. He's back on the basketball team, so he's not the Owl Crowd for that game, but for volleyball and other sports. He was a member of the Special Olympics helper for many years. But one of the big things about Alex is his family. Now, I've been very fortunate to have known the Trenarys for quite a few years. I've coached his sister Val for 4 years and had Eddie in class, and then I guess Adam's okay. He's all right. But Ed and Pam are one of the reasons Alex is up here right now. He was raised the right way. Great family, and that it shows in the classroom, it shows at school every day. Alex is a big part of the Windsor School District, and he's going to be sorely missed. I'm going to miss him. He's still got another sport coming up here, baseball in the spring, but he's playing basketball this year. But Alex Trenary, folks, I'm very proud of him.
Let's present our players and coaches, our player and coach of the year in boys soccer. For our player of the year, he was able to knock in 19 goals this season along with 28 assists. First team all-conference, all-district, all-region, and offensive player of the year in the region. Also an all-conference player of the year and first team all-state from Perryville High School, Luke Schlichting. And for Coach of the Year, it's Luke's coach, Jerry Fulton from Perryville. Perryville's soccer program is just 7 years old, but in that time they've won 3 district titles, 2 conference titles, 2 sectionals, a quarterfinal, state championship, and they're 128-51 under Coach Fulton. It's all you.
Thank you. Wow. You know, a coach don't win awards like this without players like these. These guys helped me build this program. They came in as freshmen. They saw what we were trying to do. We were a young program. We were only 3 years old at the time. They bought into the system. They bought into what we were trying to teach. They did it by example. They brought the other kids with them, the younger guys, everybody. I know for a fact you talk about they give back to some of the younger kids in Perryville. They train some of the 3rd, 4th, 5th graders in the league to make them a better players. And you know, it's all this whole award goes back to the players that you have on the field, and I've had some of the best. Thank you very much, and thanks to the other coaches for everything. George, thank you all. Thanks.
That's the 3rd straight year for Coach Jerry Fulton to be named Coach of the Year in boys soccer. How about another big round of applause for the boys soccer dream team? We move on to football. Our first presenter has racked up 73 wins in 11 seasons as head coach, including 12 wins each of the last 2 years. They've three-peated as conference and district champs and back-to-back undefeated regular seasons. From Central High School in Park Hills, Corey Schweiss.
First off, I'd like to thank the radio station for everything they do for us. I know these guys really enjoy what you guys do. Our athletes should feel very fortunate because the coverage in this area is top-notch. With broadcast games, a webcast at mymoinfo.com, Friday night end zone shows, and Tuesday night roundtables at Buffalo Wild Wings, KTJJ, KJF, KREI do an outstanding job with the coverage. I'd also like to thank my wife, Angie, with 4 boys at home and a girl on the way. She's a trooper during football season when I'm not at home very much. And when I am there, I'm really not there, if you guys know what I mean. Also, I'd like to congratulate Judd and his Warriors back here for winning another state championship. That never gets old for me. I'd like to say that in order to have back-to-back undefeated regular seasons and back-to-back-to-back district titles, we must have outstanding players and great assistant coaches. And that's exactly what we've had at Central over the past few years. This year was no exception with the 5 Dream Team athletes honored here today. I will start with our 2 juniors. Jake and Braden, you switch. Okay, we'll put the 2 juniors down here. I'll get these guys back next year. That'll be nice. Drew right here. Drew is the son of Mike and Kim Harlow of Park Hills. He's a member of the basketball team, baseball team, and football team. He had some really big shoes to fill this season. Reed Lucas was the Dream Team Player of the Year last year, and I know not too many people thought we'd be as good as we were after graduating 18 seniors, including Reed. But Drew stepped in Reed's role on defense and did not disappoint. He actually surpassed Reed's tackles from a year ago with his 143 and finished 3rd all-time in single-season tackles behind Reed's sophomore and junior seasons. He had over 30 tackles for a loss and 2 defensive touchdowns. He was the center of our defense and was a key guy in our return to the quarterfinals. We tried to keep Drew fresh for defense, so we only played him on about 15% of our offensive snaps this season. However, he made pretty good use of those offensive opportunities to the tune of a school record, 138 points scored. He had less than 80 carries on the season and had over 600 yards and 18 rushing touchdowns. He also had 2 receiving touchdowns. He finished the season as an all-conference and all-region first-team selection on defense, and on offense, he made first-team all-conference as a fullback and second-team all-region as a running back. He also finished on the coach's all-state second team as a linebacker. His role will dramatically increase next year on offense, and I'm sure he's probably glad to hear that. Next, we've got Jake Bridges. Jake is the son of Jason and Kelly Bridges of Park Hills. He is also a member of the basketball, baseball, and football teams. Jake is also a 2-time academic all-state football player. It was evident early on that Jake was going to be a great athlete. Before the end of his freshman season, he was starting at shortstop and point guard, 2 positions that are rarely held by a freshman. Jake was and is that type of athlete. After starting at safety for us a year ago and playing a small role on offense, it was evident that he was going to be a star on the football field. We decided to make the move and put him at quarterback, and that turned out to be a great decision. Jake ended up breaking all the single-season passing records at Central with over 2,400 passing yards and 21 touchdowns. Jake also averaged over 8 yards per carry when rushing, with an additional 5 touchdowns. He was the engine that made our offense go. We had set our school record for points scored in a season last year with over 400 points, and Jake led our team to a new school record this season with 515 points. Jake actually has 3 varsity receptions the past 2 seasons, and they happen to all 3 be for touchdowns. He, along with his receivers, made the game seem easy at times this season. On the defensive side of the ball, he led our team in defensive touchdowns with 3. He is currently 3rd all-time at Central in interceptions and looks to pass Braden Mannion over here and Aaron Bates next season. Jake was also our kicker and punter, where he excelled at both. He was a first-team punter in the conference and in the region as well. He holds our school record in field goals with 5 and extra points with 79. Jake ended the season being the Offensive Player of the Year in our conference and in the region, as he was unanimous first-team quarterback for the conference and the region. He was also an all-conference and all-region player at safety. We're definitely losing a lot this season, as we did last season, but it will definitely be nice to have these 2 young gentlemen back next year. Now to our 3 seniors. I'll start with Brandon Mayberry. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today because he accepted an offer to play in the Blue-Gray game down in Cowboy Stadium in Texas this evening. Brandon was very close to becoming our first 3-sport all-state athlete last season. He narrowly missed the feat in wrestling and track, but he did make the second-team all-state football team last year. He's going to shoot for it again this season. He accomplished that first part of that once again by being named to the second-team all-state football team. He played defensive end for us the last 2 seasons and had over 100 tackles last season and got close to that again this season. Last season he hit a school record 16.5 sacks, and this season had 14 more sacks. Even more amazing is that we transitioned him from the offensive line to running back before the season because we lost some backs to discipline before the season began. Because of his size and our depth at running back, we had played him on the up front on the line to stabilize it. He went to a combine this summer and ran a 4.5 40. Those of you that are football guys know that's pretty impressive. And that was on an automated timer. So when the discipline issues occurred at the beginning of the year this year, it was kind of a natural fit for us to move him to running back. He ended the season with right at 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. He also had 2 receiving touchdowns, and he finished 4th all-time in single-season scoring with his 118 points. He was first-team all-conference on offense and defense, and first team on defense and second team on offense in the region voting. Again, he is a 2-time all-state defensive end. Next, we have Braden Mannion. He's 3rd down here for me. Braden is the son of Jimmy and Chastity Mannion of Park Hills. Braden is also a member of the basketball, baseball, and football teams. He, like Drew and Jake, are very important to all 3 teams in which they play. Braden was all over the field this year. He was our kick returner, our punt returner. He was our holder on kicks for Jake. He was our emergency quarterback. He was our all-state receiver and our all-state caliber defensive back. He was everywhere. He really made his notch on the offensive side as a receiver, where he broke the single-season record for receiving with over 1,000 yards. He, along with teammate Hunter Strange, together missed 2,000 yards receiving by just a few yards. Side note to that, Hunter Strange, who's not here tonight, but he ended the season as the 2nd all-time single-season receiving yards. Braden had 8 receiving touchdowns and had big rushes as well. He also broke our school record with 60 receptions. He truly had a remarkable season on offense. Not to be outdone, he broke records on defense as well. He tied the single-season record with his 7 interceptions and tied Aaron Bates with 11 over his career. Braden scored a touchdown 7 different ways this season, with a punt return touchdown, a kick return touchdown, a fumble recovery touchdown, an interception return touchdown, a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a passing touchdown. So as you can see, he was pretty diverse. You know, it's kind of early in the season. Actually in the summer, I didn't really know if I was going to play Jake or Braden at quarterback, and I decided to go with Jake at quarterback. They're almost, other than a few inches, they're about the same kind of players. So I figured we'd have Jake at quarterback for 2 years, and Braden doing what he did on the outside really made it work for us. Just to put icing on the cake, he was even 1 for 1 on extra points, as for whatever reason he and Jake decided to switch one time, and with it being senior night, I kind of allowed it to happen. So I guess he probably should have kicked all year, huh, Jake? Braden ended the season as a unanimous first-team selection at wide receiver and defensive back in the conference and in the region. He ended this season being recognized on the second-team All-State team as a wide receiver. And finally, our last Dream Team recipient is Colin Bess. Colin is the son of Donnie and Diane Bess of Park Hills. He is a member of the basketball and the football team. He has made me a very busy man over the past few weeks, with coaches coming in from all over the country. We've had fun getting out of classes, haven't we? Okay, so Colin has already gotten Division I offers from New Mexico, Ball State, Miami of Ohio, and other interest from several other universities. Although he hasn't decided on which offer he's going to accept until he visits all of them, I'm certain that whatever place he decides, they're going to be getting a great football player. Colin finished the season with a single season and career sacks record. He had 17 sacks this season, which passed his teammate Brandon Mayberry's record of 16.5 last season. To go along with his 14.5 sacks from a year ago, he ended with 31.5 sacks over his 2-year career as a varsity player, which also beat out Brandon Mayberry by 1 sack. Colin was a terrific pass rusher, but he and Mayberry both excelled at defending the run as well. Colin, like Drew, also had over 30 tackles for a loss. Colin ended the season with over 100 tackles from his defensive end position, which is pretty amazing. At times this season, he was truly unblockable. Colin was named Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, and he was also named Offensive Lineman of the Year in the conference. He was a first-team selection in the conference and the region on offense and defense. He is a 2-time first-team All-State player in Class 3, also a repeat Dream Team honor tonight. We always say that it's going to be hard to replace these caliber of players, and it always is, but I'm certain that we won't be replacing 6'6" next year. We don't have any of those walking the halls. So I will conclude by saying that it is not only a joy to coach these caliber of players, but over the past few seasons, we've surrounded ourselves with great character athletes, and because of that, I have enjoyed myself more than ever. I truly love being around these guys, and it sure doesn't seem like work when I'm around them. I'd like to say thanks and congratulations to all of you. Good job, man.
Coach Weiss, despite your best efforts to blow it for your fellow coaches in the NFL Pick'em at the round table this year, you held us off. You beat us by 3 games, so congratulations, coaches. Our next presenter led his team to an 8-3 record and was able to capture the MAFC Red Conference outright after sharing it the last 2 years from Festus High School. Rush Schmidt.
Thank you, and thank you for the radio station for their coverage. I say it often when I'm afforded the opportunity to come speak. It's when you have people in the outlying areas that follow high school football and they're able to catch it on the radio means a lot because they're helping promote our student athletes. To my right is Jaden Reddick. Jaden's the son of Achilles and Jamie Reddick. Jaden is an explosive athlete for us at Festus, and he was one that started his role as a sophomore. As a role player, and like a lot of the coaches in other sports talked about tonight, quickly we saw what we had as an athlete. and he just grew right into our program. Last year, he was a defensive star for us on the defensive side of the ball as a defensive end, and was a bit of a role player in our backfield. And this year, when he became a senior, the roles reversed, and there was more of an emphasis on him carrying the football. This year, he led the team in rushing with 109 carries for 1,026 yards and 20 touchdowns. He was first team unanimous all-conference running back. First team all-conference defensive end. He was our conference player of the year. He was second team SEMO all-region defensive end. And I can't speak about Jaden without speaking about his counterpart that I'll speak about in a minute when we talk about the character issues and some of the things, as Coach Swice just alluded to, coaching for me, especially the last 2 years, because the kids I've been surrounded with, has not been a job. It's just been fun. And these guys make me laugh. My administrator says I don't smile enough, and yet she doesn't come to practice and watch us practice because these guys keep me smiling and grinning all the time, and it's just been a lot of fun to be around them. Jaden Reddick. I need to do my Richard Sherman impersonation with Logan Reynolds today. If I'd have known, I'd done a little cardboard cutout with him, but Logan didn't let me know he wasn't going to be able to make it due to an illness here at the last minute. So nonetheless, we're going to talk about him. He's the son of Jerry Reynolds and Tina Silkwood. He's a member of our offensive line where we had 3 starters. There were 3 brothers. Logan was our left guard. His brother was a center, and his other brother was our right guard, 2 seniors and a junior. Logan was first team unanimous offensive line, first team SEMO offensive line, first team all-district offensive line, third team all-state offensive line, first team academic all-state 2 years in a row, and first team all-conference academic 2 years in a row. Logan was the one offensive lineman that kind of got us going every game. He pulled very well. He down blocked and trapped very well. But he was the guy downfield leading Jaden in the way on the long runs. If there was a long run we had, 9 times out of 10, 51 was at the end of that run in the end zone supporting these guys. And you know, as offensive linemen go, they don't get enough credit. And I don't know how many of them are behind me tonight, but it doesn't look like there's a lot. So I want to make sure that he's recognized. But more so, the character of these 2 men that I have on our football team this year, I wanted to speak about. You know, with all the things going on around us, it's very humbling, the jobs that you do as parents out there, and especially Jaden's parents and Logan's parents. We had played a game at Pacific High School, and we were getting ready to leave, and I was talking to the media, and I noticed Jaden running back on the football field. And I don't know that he knows that I know this, but it was in a frantic fever pitch, and I saw him hand something to a district official, and through the victory, didn't think to ask him what it was. And Monday I got an email from the superintendent of the Pacific High School thanking me for a kid like Jaden for having found a cell phone of one of the Pacific football players and returning it to their athletic director. And again, I think that speaks volumes of the parenting and what these kids mean to us. And then lastly, I have a disabled daughter at home. I know Coach Schweiss talks about his tribe at home. I've got a unique situation myself. I have a paralyzed daughter who's in a wheelchair. And 2 years ago when Jaden was a sophomore, she performed in a dance routine at Afton High School. And it goes back to a summer school situation. And we were having a pity party for ourselves. And I reminded the guys what my daughter has to deal with every day, and what you're dealing with pales in comparison. And I just mentioned it one time, and we started talking about fears and what we had to overcome. And her biggest fear was getting in front of 400 people in her wheelchair and performing in front of somebody. And I said, those are things that you guys take for granted every Friday night in the big venues that you play, and yet this is something that she's scared to do. Well, lo and behold, Saturday night rolls around, and the performance is 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, 5:45, a handful of the kids show up. And my wife is accusing me of having made them come, and I said I had nothing to do with it. Really, trust me, I had nothing to do with it. And then later, a couple more. My daughter Haley had about 22 or 24 of our student athletes in attendance for a 3-hour performance that she performed in the middle end from beginning to end. and they all wanted their picture with her afterwards. And you know, it's the impression that our young people make on our student as athletes to the younger people. Jaden's younger brother sitting in the audience tonight. I watched Jaden mentor young people in our school district, and yet they don't realize what an important role they made in my daughter's life that night. And I didn't until the last game of the season. You know, Saturday morning we get up, and I helped get her up, and she goes, "Daddy, how the Tigers do?" And we talk about the wins and losses. Well, obviously our last game was a loss to the Hawks. And I said, "Sweetie," and she goes to Hillsboro. And I said, "Sweetie," I said, "your daddy lost last night to the Hawks." And she started crying. And I go, "What's wrong, baby?" And she's like, "Dad, and I pick her up, and she's making me cry. And my wife walks in the room, and she goes, "What's going on?" And I said, "You know, it's these guys that I love so much, and it's the values and the little things that they do to help people." She says, "That's a special group of football players you had this year, isn't it?" And I go, "No, they're beyond special." And she remembers you guys for having done something 2 years ago, even though they don't see and interact with her every day. That's something that girl's going to carry for the rest of her life. And those are the things that I'm glad that our kids are modeling themselves and behavior, sharing those things. And I just wanted to say thank you for the job that mom and dad do at home with their kids, because it means a lot to us as coaches. Thank you very much.
Our next presenter, after a down year last season that saw his team go 4-6, he was able to flip the script this year, led his team to an 8-4 finish. They were third in the conference, second place in the district. From Herculaneum High School, head coach David Cook.
Well, thank you. I'd like to echo the statements of previous coaches that have spoke tonight and express our deepest thanks to the regional radio team for their tremendous support and coverage of various sports. Congratulations to all the coaches and athletes here today. This is a tremendous honor. And like they mentioned earlier, we're not just picking athletes based on class. We're picking athletes in our region regardless of class. And so it's a tremendous honor to be chosen to this dream team. It was a good year for fall sports in our area. It was a good year for football in our area. And congratulations to all the coaches on a great fall season. And congratulations to Valley Catholic on the state championship again. It's kind of becoming something you just say around here, I guess. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Nico Brown, to my right. Nico is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Joe Brown of Peevely, Missouri. He has two older brothers, John and David. I don't think they came today. I didn't see them. But I know that they're going to listen at some point. Very close family. I'll tell you all about his stats and his awards in a minute, but like most coaches, I'm more interested in the character of the young man, more so than their stats and their ability to play. You know, winning is important. If it wasn't, none of us would do this. But even more important than that, we tell our kids all the time that I intend to see every one of you graduate from high school, and I intend to see every one of you walk out of here a better man than when you came in. At the beginning of this year, our staff sat down and we started talking about, you know, making some changes. We had to do something. After the season we had a year before, we really didn't have a lot of fun as a group, and we just decided we had to make some changes. So we made some sweeping changes, and we needed to implement some new policies and some new things in our program, everything from the scheme we ran to the philosophy that we adhered to the way we taught it to our kids. We had to make changes. We weren't sure how this class was going to take it. Throughout the off season, I spent several hours working with seniors. Nico was among that group. I could tell right away that he was going to buy into everything that we were saying. He bought into the shift in philosophy, he brought into the shift in the program, and he became a significant influence in our program and in the direction of our team this season. Nico plays the game with speed and intensity. His effort has never been in question. There's a difference between a football player and a kid who likes to play football. Nico's a football player. Nico was a four-year starter at inside linebacker for us. He started as a freshman. Don't see a lot of freshman starters at Herky. We have had two in the time that I've been there, Nico and Devin Foote, another senior graduating this year. He's a 4-year starter. Some of his awards include in 2012, he was a second-team all-conference linebacker. He's honorable mention to the Southeast Missouri Area Football Coaches Association as a linebacker. He was named the outstanding sophomore player on our team. In 2013, he was a second-team all-conference linebacker again. He was named an outstanding junior player on our team. In 2013 was not a good year for us, so for him to have attained that honor speaks volumes of his play. In 2014, he was named first-team all-conference linebacker as a unanimous choice. He was a first-team all-conference fullback. He was named to the all-leader team at the linebacker position. He was a first-team linebacker in the SEMO Area Football Coaches Association. He was a first-team all-district, third-team all-state, and then, of course, named to the Dream Team. Nico finished this season with 76 tackles, 3 more for a loss, for a total of 79 solos, 44 assists, and 2 interceptions. He's ranked 5th all-time on our single-season tackle record board, and he is now the career solo tackle record holder at Herculaneum, with shattering the previous record that was held by a guy named Billy Reese, who I played with at Herculaneum. Billy had 189 tackles in his career. Nico shattered that record with 242 tackles in his 4-year career at Herculaneum. As a fullback this year, he carried the ball 75 times for 372 yards and 5 touchdowns. It sure seems like he carried it more than that, but I guess that's all. Nico was selected as a team captain by his teammates this year, and he was a fine example to his teammates and a good leader. He is intense on the field. He is intense off the field. He's intense in the classroom. He's intense in practice, and he's intense in the weight room. That made him a fantastic leader. He's leaving behind a tremendous legacy, and he's leaving behind some big shoes to fill by our underclassmen. He has a 3.5 GPA. He's ranked 15th out of 91 in his class. Plans to attend college were not decided just yet. He is also a wrestler, a member of FCA, as well as active in his church, his community, and various other clubs and programs. I'm honored and very proud to introduce to you Nico Brown.
I'd like to say a personal thank you to those of state. I know it's a long ceremony, but thank you very much. As you can imagine, a lot of work goes into putting the ceremony on, and for those that have stuck around this long, I really do appreciate it. And let's move on to our next presenter. In his first year as head coach, he led the team to a 9-3 season. They were runners-up in the district and conference, but were among the final 4 teams left in the listening area after week 11. From Hillsboro, Lee Freeman.
Thanks, Glenn and Tommy. Thanks for all the coverage that the radio station provides for all of our sports programs around the area. 2 gentlemen to my right, Ryan Ochoa and Chris Walsh. One is an offensive defensive lineman, and one is a running back. I'll let you guys decide who that is. Like many of the other coaches, I could probably stand up here all day and talk about these guys as far as their character is concerned and what they do on and off the field. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Like the other coaches stated, you focus a lot on character and you get a lot of time to work on those things, whether it's at practice or at school or whatever the case is, in a weight room. And just like the other guys have stated, hopefully when they leave our program, they're a little bit better person, whether that be, in their own personal lives or whether they're going to be a good husband or father. So we try to focus on those things. As far as Chris is concerned, he's the running back there. His stats are kind of impressive. He has a 2,129 rushing yards on 160 attempts this season. That's a 13.3 yard average. And it also accounted for 210 yards receiving in our offense. Chris is the type of person that that's about the excitement that you get out of him right there. So whenever you look at Chris or talk to Chris, he's never too high, he's never too low, he's always kind of right in the middle. And I can say the same thing for Ryan also, but those guys, they come to work every day, they come to the weight room, whatever I ask them to do, they do. And it's like the other coaches have stated, it's real easy to win football games when you have talented athletes and talented players, and these two are some of the top in the area. So Chris is doesn't have any defensive stats for us because he plays mostly offense. He is a first-team all-conference running back, unanimous pick, a first-team all-district running back, and he is also a two-time second-team all-state running back. So, Mr. Chris Walsh. Ryan Ochoa is the next athlete. Ryan's an offensive and a defensive lineman. It's a lot easier to talk about defensive linemen because they have some sort of stats to go along with that, tackles and things like that. So as far as Ryan playing defensive tackle for us, his stats, he has 54 tackles. 12 of those tackles were for a loss, and also he had 44 solo tackles. So we don't really keep assists in our records, but 44 of Ryan's 54 tackles were solo tackles. So, and then from an offensive standpoint, you don't have 5,000 yards of total offense or a 2,000-yard running back without somebody doing dirty work up front, as we like to say. And Ryan is one of those guys that he's played all 5 positions on the offensive line, center, guard, and tackle, and not only play them, but plays them extremely well. He has, when you're talking about offensive line, you're talking about a lot of technique, and those guys spent a lot of time in the summer and a lot of time during practice just taking these little bitty 4-inch steps all over the place. So whenever you can put all that together and come out and put a product on the field that competes and wins games, you feel pretty good about that. Ryan, is also a first-team all-conference offensive and defensive lineman, both sides of the ball. He's a first-team all-district defensive lineman and a third-team all-state offensive lineman. Mr. Ryan Ochoa.
Our next presenter just completed his first season as the Jefferson Blue Jays head football coach. Please give a warm welcome for Jimmy Tucker.
I just want to echo what all the other coaches said. I want to thank the radio station for everything that they've done and all the coverage they give our high school sports. And on Friday nights, I have family that lives all over the country, in Texas, Alabama, Springfield, and it's great that they can get to watch some of our games on Friday night and get to keep up with us. Presenting to you today, Stephen Clinton. He's the son of Darla and Chris Clinton. Stephen is truly blessed to coach this young man. He's a 4.0 student. We don't do class rank at Jefferson High School. We're kind of unique in that way, but obviously that's going to tell you he's with a 4.0. He's right there at the top of the class. Stephen's also involved in track and student council, and our student council and Jefferson High School is probably the best I've ever seen. Mrs. Wilkie does a great job with that, and Stephen is heavily involved with that. He's probably the only person that's at school as much as I am is probably Stephen and Mrs. Wilkie, so they do a great job. Stephen's also a team captain this year by our coaches. He's played guard and defensive tackle. He had over 30 tackles this season on the defensive line. He was also had several tackles for a loss, and one of the highlights of the year that the kids and the coaches got a really big kick out of, he got an interception and got to carry the ball for the first time. I think he may have got, what, 5 yards, something like that, and it was pretty good. But anyway, it was like the highlight of one of the highlights of the season was seeing that, because all the players respect and love Stephen so much, and it was great to see him finally get his hands on the ball. He's been first team all conference the last 2 years. He's first team all district, coaches district the last 2 years, second team in the all CMO region the last 2 years. He's also been elected to coaches all state the last 2 years. He's also a member of this year's academic coaches all state team. He's been on this is his second year on the Dream Team, which is a huge honor coming from a school our size, because like we said, that really says what the type of player that he is to be elected to this team from a small school. And then above all else, I'd like to talk about Stephen as a person. You know, Stephen is a captain for a reason. You know, he's one of the guys that he's just a true leader. You know, he works hard in the weight room. He's that guy you don't have to question whether he's going to be there. If he ever was not going to be there, you would know a week or so ahead of time that Stephen was not going to be there, but I can't remember hardly anything that he missed. He's also that guy that you would want to date your daughter. You know, you wouldn't say that about a lot of football players. You know, I tell our coaches all the time that you can't win football games with a bunch of angels. In probably the 15 years I've coached, I can only think of 2 or 3 people that would be like Stefan. They're that guy that you would want to date your daughter, but on the football field, they can turn on a different switch. And that's what Stefan was able to do. You know, he's that guy off the field that you would want, you know, doing anything for you, but on the football field, he could be a little mean when he needed to be. And very few people can really do that. I've had in 15 years of coaching, I can only think of 2 or 3 guys right off the top of my head, and Stefan would definitely be one of those guys. And as far as college goes, I know Stefan's got some options there. I look forward to watching him play on Saturdays, and I know he's going to do well wherever he decides to go. One of the joys I have at coaching is seeing those guys go and watch them play on Saturdays, so I'm looking forward to doing that with him. And he's just a great representative, not only of our football team, but just our whole high school. And I want to thank Darla and Chris for doing a great job of raising him. And we're very blessed. We got another younger one coming up that's going to be really good as well, and his brother Shane. So very honored, and I can't thank the radio station and all the coaches enough for honoring Stefan. Stefan Clennon's well deserved.
Our next presenter not here today, and a big reason for that was the athlete is Tyler Curtis of North County, and like Brandon Mayberry from Central, he is in Dallas, Texas, competing in the Blue-Gray All-American Bowl. So I'll say a few words about North County's Tyler Curtis. This season, he had 223 carries, 1,359 yards. That's a 6.1 yards per carry average, and averaged 135.9 yards per game as a senior running back. 12 touchdowns on the ground. He had 8 100-plus yard performances this season, 16 receptions for 76 yards and a touchdown through the air as well. So that's 1,435 all-purpose yards, 84 total points, 1 kickoff return for a touchdown, for a grand total of 14 total scores. One thing, in interviewing Tyler Curtis a few times the way I have, the thing I noticed about him is he exudes a dream team athlete. Like most dream team athletes, he will not take the praise. He likes to deflect the praise upon his teammates. He had a very good offensive line. One of the offensive linemen, Drew Forbes, who was very deserving of making the dream team this year, Tyler Curtis would credit more than anything for his success, along with the rest of the offensive line, his quarterback, his receivers. He credits his coach. He credits everybody but himself. He is the epitome of a dream team athlete. I'm better for having known him, and I wish him good luck today at the Blue-Gray All-American Bowl. From North County High School, Tyler Curtis. Our next presenter on the list today is from Potosi High School. Please welcome Coach Mark Casey.
Like all the other coaches up here, I would like to thank J-98 for all the coverages you guys give us. It's amazing, like coaches have said, you know, to go in the office after the game and get to listen to all the scores and updates and interviews and everything that's going on around the area. Pretty neat situation. I get to introduce Blaine Riddle and Austin Cooley today. Blaine here to the closest to me, and Austin second there. These guys have been amazing athletes for Potosi High School for the last 4 years, and they're truly, truly going to be missed next year. I think they probably racked up probably about 90% of our total offensive yardage last year, so we've got some big shoes to try to fill here in the next few years. I'll start off with Blaine. Blaine is the son of Shane and Angie Riddle. He is a senior this year. He's a running back and defensive back for us. He is a member of the student council, also runs on the track team. His honors, as a sophomore, he was a second team all-conference running back and defensive back. He was also elected to the second team all-region as a defensive back for both the Sports Writers and the Coaches Association. As a junior, he was a first-team all-conference running back, honorable mention defensive back, and was also an all-region running back, first team as well, and then was also on the Sports Writers as a running back as well. This year, Blaine was first-team all-conference on both sides of the ball as a running back and as a defensive back. He was also all-region first team on both sides of the ball, and finished the season with 1,502 rushing yards and had back-to-back 1,500-yard rushing seasons. He had 11 touchdowns this year, and on defense he had 52 tackles and 4 caused fumbles and 1 fumble recovery. He finished off his career basically ranked 4th in career rushing at Potosi all time. So Blaine is basically the guy that would never say no to taking the ball. I mean, he would take it as many times as we could possibly give it to him. He was our workhorse, and he could be dead tired, but he would never tell you no. He would never tell you he was hurt. He would never tell you anything other than give me the ball. So Blaine Riddle. Next up is Austin Cooley. He's a senior for us. He was a wide receiver, running back, defensive back. I mean, he played about every possible role we could get him in. He did a lot of adjusting this year because he was typically a wide receiver for the most part, but with the transition of our offense this year and our strengths, we were going to have to ask him to run the ball a lot more, and he accepted that graciously, and he did it with, you know, as good as anybody could do it. Austin is a member of FCA, Student Council, National Honor Society president. He runs track and also plays basketball. He has a 3.91 GPA and is currently ranked 2nd in his class his senior year. As a sophomore, he was a 2nd-team all-conference receiver, also a 2nd-team all-region receiver, and as a junior, he was 1st-team all-conference wide receiver and a 1st-team all-region receiver, and as well as a 3rd-team all-state receiver. He was academic all-state as a junior, and he was also a dream teamer last year. This year, he was a 1st-team all-conference unanimous choice at the flex position, and that was part of that transition we were talking about, being able to run the ball a lot more and catch as many passes as possible. He is also a 1st-team Missouri Coaches All-Association All-Region receiver, 2nd-team SEMO Sports Writers All-Region receiver, and he will be academic All-State again this year as well. This year, Austin had 1,050 yards rushing on 103 carries for a 10.1 average and 16 touchdowns. Also had 425 yards receiving on 23 catches for an 18.4 average for a total of 1,475 total yards. In his career, he had 1,305 yards rushing and 1,982 yards receiving and 32 touchdowns. And Austin ranks 1st in our school's history as far as receiving yardage goes, with the 1,982 yards. And it was kind of a weird situation because I didn't realize he really had broken that record until after the game. I was actually talking to Glenn, and he had told me how many yards he had, and I knew he was close, but he ended up breaking it by 1 yard. So in our very last game. So Austin Cooley.
Our next presenter from St. Pius High School, welcome for the, what, 3rd, 4th time, 5th, 6th? Kevin Howley, St. Pius.
I've got a prepared statement from Coach Jerry Woods. This year, Brendan was 1st-team all-conference and all-district, and he was named to the Southeast Missouri all-region team. He was 37 of 39 on point after attempts, 5 of 7 on field goal attempts, and had 38 kickoff touchbacks. Brendan's a great young man that has worked hard and found success. Brendan was a 1st-team all-conference and all-district his sophomore year, then suffered a groin injury his junior year that hampered his performance. He healed up and worked hard to get stronger and had a great senior year kicking the football. He is by far the strongest kicker we have had at St. Pius, as he squats 350 pounds and power cleans 235. I love watching Brendan during pregame warmups. He goes about his trade like a true master, very detailed and efficient. When I see him kicking the ball through the end zone, it puts my mind at ease for kickoffs. And when he tells me he is good from the 35-yard line, it makes life easier for a coach, for offensive decisions of a coach, knowing that if we can get the ball to the 35-yard line, we can still get points even if the offense stalls. The St. Pius X football program will miss Brendan next year, but not just because we lose a great kicker to graduation, but because we lose a great team player with unyielding character that has made everyone else better. Congratulations, Brendan.
Next up, we have an old-timer. just completed his 26th and final season at St. Genevieve and 36 total years with the St. Genevieve Dragons. Please welcome Bob Stolzer.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. Again, just not to repeat what everyone else has been saying, but thanks to KTJJ or J-98, and especially Glenn. Glenn's like a coach himself. You guys who coach know the amount of time you put in. The families know how much time you put in. Well, as long as I've known Glenn, you know, I can't help but think it's got to be an ungodly amount of time that you put in all your preparation and stuff. So kudos to you, Glenn, or Coach Johnson, whatever you prefer to be called. Okay, it's my pleasure to introduce number 1 from St. Genevieve High School, Drew Smelsley, to my right. Drew's the son of Craig and Mary Smelsley and was one of our seniors this past year on our team. Drew was selected to the Dream Team as a defensive back. He's been one of our school's athletes for all 4 years, but his participation his sophomore year was cut a little short when he tore his ACL in his knee during football. He rehabbed and made a successful comeback, though, and has been a standout in sports since. Besides football, Drew also starts on the basketball team and baseball team and is a very good athlete for both of those. He's a particular standout in baseball for both the high school and summer leagues. Drew was pretty much of an everything player for us this past football season. The only time he came off the field during a game was during kickoff returns. As a wide receiver, Drew had 20 receptions for 448 yards and 6 TDs and went out on pass routes, did a great job blocking on the perimeter. As a punter, he averaged 32.2 yards in a punt. And as our place kicker, he was always consistent on his placement on kickoffs and made 25 of 30 PATs for us this year. With his foot and TDs. With his foot and TDs, Drew scored 61 points for us this past season. It was also 1-for-1 passing with a big completion on a fake punt, which kept a drive going. I think if we had tried any field goals, I'm sure he would have made some of those as well. In practice, he was accurate and had very good distance as well. As a defensive back, Drew made all our secondary calls for us and pretty well ran our secondary. He had 3 interceptions along with 36 primary tackles and 9 assists. From a safety position, we could always depend on him coming up and making solid tackles. Many of his interceptions were very athletic catches. Drew took a lot of pride in his positions, and more days than not, he'd stay after practice 30 to 45 minutes working on his kicking duties. For all the positions he played for us this past season, he'll surely be missed next fall. For his performance this past fall, Drew's teammates voted him as our outstanding special team player. On the all-conference team, Drew was selected as the first-team kicker, first-team defensive back, and second-team wide receiver. On the media all-region team, Drew was selected as a second-team wide receiver and defensive back, as well as a kicker. He was also named to the SEMO football coaches all-region team as a second-team wide receiver, defensive back, and also a kicker. Drew was also a second-team all-district defensive back in the Missouri Football Coaches Association team, along with being rewarded as a defensive back in this year's Dream Team. For having been selected for 3 positions on so many postseason teams, like I said, it's pretty obvious that we'll miss Drew next season. Drew's undecided right now as far as what he's going to do next fall. He's either going to go to a tech school and become a welder in the future, or if any colleges express interest in him in a baseball player, he may go that route, which is as good as he is with a bat. There could be a possibility. Regardless of which route he takes, I'm sure he'll be successful. Drew Smelsley.
Coach Stolzer's been around as long as the Dream Team has. He's been coaching at St. Genevieve for as long as we've had a Dream Team. We're going to miss him. 22 winning seasons, 1 state championship, 1 runner-up finish, 5 semifinalist appearances, 3 quarterfinalists, 14 district championships, 13 conference championships, 4-time Coach of the Year at the Dream Team ceremony, 206 and 94 overall record. That's 300 games he's coached in, and he's won 68% of those games. He's also a Hall of Fame head football coach. Can we hear it? One real big round of applause for Coach Bob Stolzer. This standing ovation is very, very well deserved. And like Nancy Fisher, like I said earlier, Coach Stolzer, I can't say enough about what you've done for this radio station. You're what makes being a sports director fun. It's been awesome. We appreciate it. Next up, Valley Catholic coach Judd Negger couldn't be here today. He came down with the flu, and I understand that's going around, but his assistant coach Nathan Gegg is here, so here to present 6 Valley Catholic Warriors. Please welcome Nathan Gegg.
Good afternoon. As Glenn mentioned, Judd could not be here. He came down with the flu, but I know he would like to express thanks to J-98 and Regional Radio for their outstanding coverage of our young athletes. Your coverage is unmatched, so we appreciate it. And he also wanted to express congratulations to Coach Stolzer, or Dr. Stolzer, as Judd calls him. You've been a mentor to me and to Judd for the last several years. And we wish you best of luck in whatever you decide to do after football, but you're one of the best ever. Thank you, Coach. This speech is kind of difficult because Judd wrote it, but I'm saying it, so it's kind of, if there's some disconnects, I apologize. He's an English teacher, but the proofreading on this thing is terrible, by the way. Anyway. Joe would like to thank all the coaches for voting for our 6 athletes here. It's truly an honor and humbling experience to have such great representation of our football program. I'm going to start with the seniors and the linemen. First, we have on the very end down there, Jacob Trotman. Jacob is the son of Debbie and Jeff Trotman. Jacob is and was the leader of our offensive and defensive lines this past season. With his countless hours in the weight room and on the practice field, he became one of the best linemen we've had in our program. Jacob's been the rock of our football team the last two years. I could speak all night about Jacob. He is one of the last to leave the weight room, last to leave the practice field, and usually the last to leave after a game after he cleans up the locker room for everybody. Upon returning from our state championship game, Jacob was once again the last one to leave. He wanted to soak up the smell of that locker room one more time. Jacob was part of an offensive line that exceeded 7,200 yards, good for second all-time in the state of Missouri, and scored just under 800 points. Jacob was the main reason the first offense only punted 3 times the entire season. On defense, Jacob finished with 105 total tackles and, the best we can tell, a new state record with 36 tackles for loss. He was voted the CMO Defensive Player of the Year, the I-55 Conference Defensive Player of the Year, and this past weekend he was named the Class 1 Defensive Player of the Year. Jacob Trotman. Next we have Ethan Fallert right here. Ethan is the son of Julia and Mark Fallert. Ethan has been a 3-year starter for us at center, our most important position on the offensive line. He is responsible for all blocking schemes and protection calls. In our inside and outside zone scheme, Ethan is routinely asked to reach defensive tackles and to beat them to certain spots, and he does this over and over and over again, all while having less than 5 bad snaps in 3 years. Ethan has started on defense as well for the last 3 years on the defensive line. He's been part of some tremendous defenses. This year he finished with 56 total tackles and 17 tackles for loss. Ethan plays with a very low center of gravity, as you might guess, shorter than me. And he isn't very hard to move. We call him the ball of muscle. It seems that every Great Valley team has had a player like Ethan. Not the tallest, but nearly impossible to block without a tremendous trigger off the football. Ethan has been All-State for 2 years and All-Conference and All-District for 3 years. Ethan is a true Valley Warrior. Ethan Fallert. Next, Ethan is Logan Tucker. He's also a senior, and he's the son of Alyssa and Mike Tucker. Logan epitomizes Valley football. As you can see, he's not the biggest in size for a middle linebacker. What do you weigh these days, buddy? 142. All right. Yeah. But that's Valley football, and that's the type of kid that Logan is. He's had In the last 2 seasons, he has over 350 total tackles, solos, and assists combined. He is our all-time leading tackler for his junior year, and this year he ranked top 5 as well. He simply makes tackles that no other linebacker can make. He makes 4 to 5 a game out of sheer effort. He battled through bumps and bruises his entire career, and as I mentioned, last season set the all-time Valley record for tackles. Logan has the distinction of probably playing more scout team defensive plays than any other player ever in our program. But he always made us work. There were days when we had to kick him off the scout team because he was wreaking havoc on our offense and making it very difficult to gain a rhythm. We run roughly 65 offensive plays a day on offense, and for 4 years, Logan made us work for every one of those on scout team. He was a tremendous player with great effort at all times, and he will be missed, but he has left behind a standard that all of our other middle linebackers now follow. Logan Tucker. Next we have Colton Schilly. Colton is a senior, and he's the son of Claire and Rick Schilly. Colton began his football career at Valley as a very small, slow, and silly-looking freshman. That has changed, but he still looks pretty silly. Did you cut your hair? No, still hasn't. I won't cut his hair. Colton has made himself into one of the best athletes we've ever had in our football program, and he did this by being honest with himself. He knew that for him to be successful on the court or the field or the baseball diamond, he was going to have to outwork everybody in the weight room, and that's what he did. He slowly changed his body by doing things the right way, making the hard lifts the one he spent the most time on. He translated his explosion into the weight room into explosion on the football field. After playing guard last year, he was our starting guard, believe it or not. This year we moved him to wide receiver, running back, and tight end. He averaged 12.5 yards a carry for a total of 772 total yards. He had 35 catches for another 800 yards receiving. On the defensive line, he had 15 sacks, adding to last year's total of 15 sacks. He was back-to-back first-team All-State defensive end. Colton's work ethic, like his smile, is contagious, and he constantly makes others better. Colton Schilly, thank you. I'm timing myself, by the way. I'm doing well. Junior, Garrett Jagers. Garrett is the son of Gina and Mike Jagers. Garrett was our mental leader this season. He made sure that he knew every aspect of every scouting report he ever received. On defense, he would yell out all our automatics, what play was coming. He was truly a coach on our field, a way to have your voice in the trenches. Offensively, he not only knew his job, but everybody else's. He's a true student of the game. Match his mental domination of the game with his athletic ability, and you get a true difference maker on the field. He finished this season with 51 catches for 1,140 yards, making him the all-time leading receiver at Valley. He accounted for 20 total touchdowns. In the semifinal game versus Skyline, he scored 4 touchdowns, 2 receiving, 1 rushing, and he had a pick 6. He followed that up with 5 catches for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns in the state title game. Defensively, he was the rare athlete that could play linebacker, corner, or defensive end if needed. We're very excited to see what the future holds for Garrett next season. He and Nick Oberly return as all-state wide receivers, along with Cole Wood. Our receiving corps will be truly special because it's led by Garrett Jagers. Thank you. Lastly, second from the end, we have Connor Bosler. He's a junior, and he's the son of Don and Scott Bosler. Connor is a rare athlete that has it. I don't know what it is, or I don't know what it looks like, but when you see it, you just kind of know. And Connor is best when the game is on the line. He constantly makes plays that turn a coach into a spectator. Nothing we did, but everything that he did. Connor finished his junior season as the all-time leading passer in Valley history with 3,162 passing yards, and total yards, also a record, with 3,930. In his 2 games versus West Strand this season, he was 39 for 62 with 896 yards passing and 12 touchdowns. He tied the state record at the Show Me Bowl for touchdown passes with 5, a record he shares with a slow, fat old man. For those of you who don't know, that slow, fat old man is Judd Naggert. Connor also rushed for 773 yards and 15 touchdowns. He accounted for 60 total touchdowns in 42 quarters. What makes all of those offensive statistics so amazing are he played every meaningful snap on defense and was in charge of calling our coverage most of the time. Connor excels on the baseball field, the basketball court, and as you can see, on the football field. He will have many opportunities to play at the next level in any of the three sports. It has been a pleasure to watch Connor transform from someone who plays football to a true football player. There are very few absolutes in the game of football, but I believe wholeheartedly that no football team can reach its potential unless their quarterback is one of the toughest players on their team. Connor fits that bill. He was all-state, all-district, all-conference, and best of all, he's a junior. Connor Bosler. We talk about love a lot in our program, and it's kind of a word that these guys maybe aren't very comfortable with at times, but these young men love football, but more importantly, they love each other, and they showed it in their play throughout the season. To our seniors, we say thank you. They will finish their career with a 56-4 record, 3 state titles, and 1 state runner-up. But more importantly than that, they've taught everybody who comes through that weight room in those hallways how to work and how to care and how to give yourself to a bigger cause. Thank you very much.
It's approximately half of your football dream team this year that just got recognized. Time to present Player and Coach of the Year. And again, we'll ask the player to come up, get their picture taken, and the coach will ask to say a few words. Our Player of the Year for football this year rewrote the record books in this year's Show Me Bowl, like Coach Gegg alluded to. And it is junior season with 45 touchdown passes and 10 interceptions from Valley Catholic High School, Connor Bosler. I would like to say thank you to Connor's mom, Dawn. She, not only this year, but every year, helps us out in organizing Dream Team interviews with every Valley Catholic athlete who makes the Dream Team. Dawn's pretty much the person who sets that up for us, so special thanks to her. For our Coach of the Year, it's his 4th time winning this award. He's also a 5-time baseball coach of the year and even won it once as a girls basketball coach. Unfortunately, he's not here today. Judd Naggert from Valley Catholic. But Coach Gegg, I know you're a big part of why he's been a Coach of the Year for that many times. If you'd like to come up and accept the award and maybe say a few words, because I know you and your fellow assistants are really a big part of that.
I texted Judd. I said, you know, what do you want me to say if you win Coach of the Year? And he said, just thank my amazing coaching staff. I said, that's fine. I can do that. No, kidding. Now, Judd is a humble guy, but nobody works harder and nobody knows more. And nobody cares more about his kids. He appreciates this award and he appreciates everything you guys do. And more importantly, he's thankful for these guys back here and all his fellow coaches, Coach Schweiss and Coach Stolzer and all the other guys that he's taken a lot of what we do from. So Judd appreciates it and he says thank you.
For those who don't know, Valley's been to the last 6 state championships. They won 4 of them. They've won more state titles than any other team in program history. They're tied anyway with Webb City. So remarkable run for the Valley Catholic Warriors. With that, we say thank you once again, especially to the athletes and the parents that stayed for the entire ceremony. Again, it's very long, but it means a lot to me that you stuck it out for this long. Thank you. Let's hear it one more time for the football Dream Team and the entire 2014 Dream Team. I'll just leave you by saying this. John Bach mentioned it in the opening that fall sports this year was incredible in this listening area. We had cross-country team and state champions. We had soccer team state champion in the Perryville Pirates. We had a softball state champion in the DeSoto Dragons. We had a football state champion in the Valley Catholic Warriors. And for volleyball, we had a state runner-up in the St. Vincent Indians. Thank you very much. Drive home safely.